get it. The first 5 minutes of that opening half, really for both teams, were just fantastic. But a secondary player for Auburn was getting going.
Here's Chaney Johnson, dribbles inside, kick out to Broom, three on the right wing, won't go, rebound tipped around, Johnson offensive board for Auburn. Up top to Baker Mazzara, steps into a three, and Chad Baker Mazzara with 8 points. Auburn 16, Florida 14. Here we go in San Antonio.
Those 8 points in the first 5.5 minutes before we had the first media timeout. Neither team got more than a 4-point separation in the first 15 minutes of the first half. That changed heading towards the locker room.
Banging his way into the paint, turns, jumper off the back iron, no. Broom had a hand on the rebound, but Chinyelu tracks it down for Florida.
Boy, credit House because he's taking a beating right there. Had to match the physicality of Broom.
Martin, three, left wing, got it. We're tied. A 9-0 Gator run to knot it at 49.
That would tie the game in the second half after Auburn led by 8 at the break. So tied at 49. Little back and forth. Auburn would regain the lead. Then Florida, thanks to that defense that Nick Baugh was just talking about, took the lead.
Hediford will bring it up from right to left. Jumps the pass to Broom. Loose in the middle of the floor. Taken away by Martin. Loping to the other end for the one-hand jam. Florida by 2, 59-57.
Huge play by the guy from FAU 2 years ago who became the first to ever start for 2 different teams in the Final Four. But again, that back and forth, we weren't done with it yet.
Hediford up the floor from right to left. Over to the right side, Chad Baker Mazzara in the corner, drops it to Broom, who lobs it to Dylan Cardwell. Big to big alley-oop, and it's 63-62, Auburn by 1.
I love Janai Broom there with the short roll because Florida's trying to keep it on the side. The short roll is there, you hit him, and he just throws it up for Dylan Cardwell on the cut.
14 lead changes in this one as Houck pivots, drives inside, slithers to the rim, past Broom, and he lays it in. Lead change number 15, and a timeout taken by Florida.
Todd Golden wanted to keep that lead and get his defense set up. Houck was huge off the bench. 12 points, 7 rebounds. They get another defensive stop, another Martin dunk. But then it was time for the best player on the floor to put things away with the Wrangler highlight of the game.
Houck now dribbles over to the right-hand wing. He'll back this one out. Weaves around to the left side. Clayton is there. Gets the catch. Fires the three. Rolls it home. When you need a bucket, it's Clayton time. 27 for Walter Clayton Jr. Big time shot. And it's 69-65. Florida, their largest lead.
Highlight of the game, sponsored by Wrangler. Here's to the early risers, the go-getters. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles to kickstart your day. Wrangler for the ride of life. Walter Clayton Jr., 34 points, 20 in the second half. And Nick Baugh, he joins the list of just unbelievable names. He is the 5th ever to have 30 or more points in the Elite 8 and Final Four, both with wins, joining a list that includes Larry Bird, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, and 1952 Kansas's Clyde Lavalette.
Wow. And I tell you, though, you watch the performance, it matches something to that degree in terms of a stat with the company that is in that. And with Clayton, he's strong. He can get to the free throw line. He can finish over people at the rim, and he can make tough threes. And so you sit there and go, how do you stop this guy? And that's the thing is he's a perfect combination of he makes it look easy gliding to the basket, but then he also can jaw drop you with how tough some of these pull-up threes off the dribble are. These are 10 out of 10 difficulty shots that he is making. And I told you, Jason, in the pregame, the most scary thing to go against is a player that can make threes off the dribble because you're kind of just contesting and hoping. And now there are 5 teams that have taken on Clayton in-state tournament. They have contested and they've hoped and they have gone home. There's just a guy for Florida right now that feels like he's the best player in the tournament, and there's a reason that they're going to be playing on Monday night.
Yeah, we saw at halftime the Naismith Basketball Hall of Famers for this year's class honored, including Carmelo Anthony. And I bring up Carmelo Anthony because he has been talked about a lot leading up to this weekend because people have compared Cooper Flagg and what he did his freshman year leading a team to national championship Carmelo Anthony was that one and done, and in the semifinals, he had a 30-point game. Now, Walter Clayton's not a freshman by any means, right? He's the end of his college career. But Walter Clayton has the most points by any player in a Final Four win since Al Wood from North Carolina in 1981. More than Carmelo Anthony had in that semifinal victory over Texas back in 2023. We check the road to the National Championship Tournament summary, sponsored by Marriott. Take your game day rituals on the road with Marriott Bonvoy. Over 30 hotel brands for every kind of fan. Explore more at MarriottBonvoy.com/NCAA. The Gators move on to the championship game for the fourth time in school history. They are now 4-2 all-time in the national semifinals. Auburn falls to 0-2 all-time in the Final Four. Adding more to the accolades for Walter Clayton Jr., 123 combined points in this year's tournament. He breaks the Florida record that Joakim Noah had since 2006. He scored 97 points in those 6 games en route to their first of 2 national championship wins. Walter Clayton has bested that by, let's see, quick math, 26 points in 5 games.
And the thing about Clayton's points, too, is they're not empty calories. His team has needed him to step up and score, in particular in the second half of these games. And so that's what's impressive about it, too. It's not like he's just running up his point total. His team needed him to score all 20 points that he got in the second half. So this has just been one of the more impressive individual tournament performances. This is whether you want to put a Carmelo Anthony level on it, a Kemba Walker level on it, where you just got a guy that just won't be denied off the bounce, scoring from all 3 levels. He was incredible again tonight.
All right, before we get you set for game 2, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for the national championships.
Yo, it's Jacob Hester from Off Campus on College Sports Radio. For full breakdowns of this game and more, tune in weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern on Channel 84 or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
Closing out game number 1, Florida comes back from 8 down at the half to knock off Auburn 79-73 and advance to Monday night's national championship game, which, by the way, will tip off a half hour earlier than it has over the past years, and we're all thankful for that. This has been the All-State Tournament postgame show on Westwood One. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not based on anyone else. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today. We could try to push it a half hour even more, no? 8:20 Eastern instead of 8:50 Eastern, you know? It's not such a bad idea.
I'm with it.
Not such a bad idea. All right, my friend Nick Baugh, who is now getting to see game number 2 in his first Final Four. One of the best parts, the transfer of the student bodies from the floor. Florida and Auburn, gone. Seats empty. Those going to get those Houston and Duke kids in here, and here they come. It's like the running of the Bulls inside the Alamo Dome. They'll get situated. We will too. Houston and Duke tipping off coming up here in just about 22 minutes, and we get you ready for that next. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is the Men's Final Four.
Meet Bob Minetti.
Fleet drivers, you're always on the move. So is Meineke. With locations nationwide, we're ready to handle all your car care needs, wherever the road takes you. We partner with most major fleet management programs. Plus, our national warranty in over 750 locations gives you peace of mind, mile after mile. Visit MeinekeFleet.com to learn more. Let us do our job so you can do yours. Meineke, doing car care right.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong. You are fearless. You are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. At home or at work, we'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. We proudly use Sherwin-Williams paint.
Feels like home. The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Duke inbounds, 51-49, Blue Devils by 2. As we approach 8 minutes to go in the second half, Scheyer on the drive to the basket, his shot. Oh!
What's up, basketball fans? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Final Four. The Duke Blue Devils against the Houston Cougars, 2 number 1 seeds battling it out. It's going to be crazy. This Final Four is stacked. It is all the 1 seeds. This doesn't happen very often. So it should be a great game tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please hit that like button down below. As well, please share this link out so that we can get more basketball fans here in the chat cheering on your favorite team as they vie for a spot in the national championship game.
Will become the first men's player to ever win a national title as a player and coach at the same school. As it is, tonight he is set to be just the 8th person to play and coach in the men's Final Four and just the 3rd to do it at his alma mater. John Scheyer taking over for Coach K and just 3 years in coaching in the Final Four. PJ Carlissimo with the head man of the Blue Devils.
John, first of all, congratulations to you and your team and the year you've had. And from a personal standpoint, I know you know how well I know that guy that you spent tons of time with playing for and working with. In addition to the great job coaching, the way you've handled the Duke situation, because it's an impossible act to follow, the way you've handled that is fantastic. And from another old coach, really, really impressive.
Well, that means a lot, PJ. And you know what? I'm very proud. It's an amazing responsibility to have. And so we've tried to just represent our program the best way possible with hard work, keeping our heads down, bringing in great high-character guys, and to see this group come together and have the season that they have. To me, it's the making of 3 years in this transition, but also the amazing support from Coach K from day one, which has meant a lot to me.
Talking about transition, when you and I were last, they've kept me away from you as long as they could. When we last were together, it was in the South region last year. Houston was there. I mean, not too much has changed in a year. Your team has changed incredibly. That team, obviously an excellent Duke team, but didn't get to where you wanted to go. The changes you've made since then to your team, like walking out of Dallas, what were the things in your mind that you felt you needed to improve and to get to where you are now?
Well, you know what? I think it's amazing how it works. You know, you mentioned that time. Beating Houston was probably the best win of my coaching career at that time. And you follow it up with maybe the most heartbreaking loss against NC State. And that's, I think, the nature of coaching. But the loss, the failure, whatever you want to call it, it presents an opportunity. And I think it allowed us as a staff to really look at our entire program and say, all right, we have to really change these things. And for me, we weren't our best when our best was required. So we felt like there's a mental shift we had to have with our program to be ready for those moments and then make sure we have the toughest, most connected group. And so we really had a lot of turnover in our roster and bringing in really good players, but also the complementary pieces and fits with each other, to me, is the biggest difference. The roster construction to put us in this position has been critical.
You're plagued. I don't know why. You're stuck with me, unfortunately, showing up too many times during the course for you. But one, I think you'll remember, I was blown away. I'd heard so much about Cooper Flagg, and we're sitting there in the summer playing for the select team. First of all, the fact that he's even chosen for the select team was incredible. There's really quality NBA guys you know very well struggle when they have to go play against a team like the United States Olympic team. And I remember sitting there and looking to my left, and you and Chris were sitting up in the stands. And I don't know whether you felt that was a test. He had anything to prove by then. I'm sure you already knew how good he was. Did you expect him to play at that level this summer against the United States Olympic team?
Look, I've seen him, really rise to the occasion in every moment. But you think he's going to get pushed around a little bit more than he did. And, he's a guy that I've always felt, PJ, he just needs to feel it one time, and then he kind of has it. And that first day, I thought he was feeling it out somewhat. Again, all relative, right? And then the second day, he's like, all right, I can hang. And to see him, he was incredible. And I'll never forget the amount of coaches that came up to me and said, you better do something special with this guy. The pressure from there, I think, only ramped up. But it's a credit to, he's got this amazing mind for knowing how to succeed in different environments and different moments. And me and you both saw it in person.
I know you would rather talk about the team and Duke, but I want you to talk about you. You've got a chance. You've already incredible accomplishments, but you have a chance. Final Four, national championship as a player, as an assistant coach, and now as a head coach. Personally, what's that been like for you?
Well, I can't even believe when I was 17, right? You commit to go to Duke University and play for Coach K. I could have never in a million years, PJ, thought this would be the journey that I would be on. I thought we'd win big as a player, and you don't think about, I don't know. I knew I wanted to coach someday. I always knew that, but I didn't think it would be a Duke. And
I always thought you were more intelligent than that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so to be on this journey and to have another opportunity to be at the Final Four, something you don't take for granted, and it's a combination of feeling incredibly grateful but incredibly hungry and wanting to win the whole thing. And that's how it should be, especially when you're here. And, I just couldn't be more proud to have the guys in the locker room be in this journey with me. And obviously, it's hard to get one of them. So to have a chance to get number 3 would be, and number 1 as a head coach would be off the charts.
Thank you, man. Good luck. Enjoy.
Thanks so much, PJ.
Appreciate it.
Now, 1 as a player, 1 as an assistant. He was an assistant on the team that lost in Coach K's final game 3 years ago to North Carolina, and tonight he is leading this team at 37 years of age. PJ Carlissimo opposite Kelvin Sampson, who is just a couple months shy of 70. Large age gap there, but also a difference in roster construction, PJ, between these two teams as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When we left them last year in the South Regional, both coaches talked about it. Houston played Duke the round of 16. Yes, Jamal Shedd was injured, but then Duke went on after winning that and couldn't get it done against NC State in the Elite Eight. And the changes that he's made, not that Houston needed a change. The Houston roster is virtually the same, other than adding milestones on. The Duke team is very different. And all that credit goes to John to play these young guys, to change a little bit the way this team plays is so impressive. And at a young age, to handle all that John Scheyer has handled, if you think following Mike Krzyzewski at Duke is a picnic, you're out of your mind.
Well, no question with regard to that. I mean, you always hear you want to be the guy that follows the guy. You don't want to be the guy to follow the guy, but he has taken that to a new level and a chance to take Duke to the national championship game opposite Florida. Houston on the other side, this is the 7th ever trip to the Final Four, but Houston has never won a national championship, the most by any school to get to the Final Four without a national title to their name. Kelvin Sampson feels he's got the best team in his tenure to do that, and PJ had a chance to catch up with the Cougars head man.
Kelvin, first of all, congratulations. The job that you've done with your staff and your guys at Houston is nothing short of remarkable. I don't know that our listeners sometimes appreciate how difficult it is to be as consistently excellent as you've been at Houston.
Yeah. I think one of the things that really helps me, PJ, is that my staff has stayed together. And our kids love our staff. Kellen with the 4s and 5s and Quantas with all the guards. I have 2 rock stars that work with our guys every day, that coach them the way they should be coached. They hold them accountable. They get on them. And I see if the guards are in there at 2:15, they're all down there ready to go at 2. If the bigs have to be there at 2:30, they're all down there ready to go at 2:15. That's how it would be if I was doing it. So the respect that our kids have for our staff has a lot to do with our culture, which has a lot to do with our success.
And your reward is just an easy matchup. Your impressions, I know you've been watching. Keys going against Duke.
First of all, you got to figure out how you're going to score against all that switching. Everybody wants to figure out how you're going to stop Cooper. Well, you're not. He doesn't have to score to beat you. He can pass, he rebounds, he's a great help side defender. I can list 10 things he's great at. The guy that doesn't get talked enough about is Proctor. Proctor is a pro. We played against him last year, and he's significantly better. The Canepo kid, he was never a freshman. He was just in his first year. There's nothing freshman about that dude. That dude's mature and old. He's got an old man's game, and he is fearless. I don't think John gets enough credit for how he put this team together around those three freshmen. He went and got Zion James from Tulane. He was Tulane's fourth best player. Smart, tough, dependable, no ego. That's brilliant by John. Then he goes and gets the kid from Syracuse, gets the kid from Purdue. It's like he was a general manager that put this team together based on, okay, we got, a generational kid in Cooper, got great players in the big kid in Canepo. So what did they need? Well, they don't need three guys that's averaging 20 points a game and asking how many touches am I going to get. They sought out the perfect fits, and that's why they're so good. It's not just those three guys that everybody talks about. I don't think we give enough credit to John's ability to evaluate what's best for his team. That's why I think they're so good.
You and I are contemporaries. I know you prefer to talk about the team. Final Four with Oklahoma, Final Four you just mentioned 4 years ago. What is this like for you, third Final Four, to bring three different teams? Some similarities between this one and 21, but back to the Final Four.
Well, I was telling Karen that, we're in the twilight. I'm going to be 70. At some point, as an older coach, it's time to go. I mean, this is a young man's game, and you don't want to get in the way. You don't want to hold other people up.
Well, just stop winning 30 games every year and go to the Final Four.
But I said, there's a good chance this will be the last one. And my mother, God bless her, she passed away in 2014. But she said, Kelvin, one of the things that I wish you would do better is I wish you would stop and smell the roses. I've listened and heard her saying that so many times, but I can't. I can't. I grind too much about things we need to do today to get better, about practice, about the last 3 days I've been pounding kids in the portal because you have to have them done by a certain date. It's just hard. But I do know, PJ, you took a team to the championship game. You know how hard it is to get here. There's so much luck involved. We beat Purdue with that last play. We could have easily lost that game. We're playing Tennessee in front of 20,000 Tennessee fans. We could have lost that game. But we're here now. And our kids have earned this, and they deserve it. And as a coach, you get to go along for the ride. And we're here with millions of people watching, thousands of people here at the convention. You feel blessed, you feel lucky, but I think the word that describes how I feel more than anything else is gratitude. I'm grateful.
Fantastic job. Good luck, and enjoy your third Final Four.
Should be a great game tonight.
And PJ, he hinted there at retirement in the imminent future, though he didn't tell you that this is coming after this Final Four win, lose, or, well, I guess we're not going to have a draw, so that's not going to happen, PJ. But, I mean, the reality is he's still searching for his first title.
Yeah, and that was the thing that the four coaches had in common tonight. We talked about we got two veteran guys, graybeards, and we got two young studs. Well, guess what? None of them had ever coached, has never coached in a championship game. Todd Golden is there now. Kelvin Sampson's been knocking on his door for a long time. It's going to be interesting to see. John Scheyer, exceptional. One of them is going to get that chance on Monday. And, Jason, the difference, you talk about all games. Yeah, it's good. Win in advance, all that. Win this one, and you get to play Monday night. That is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
No question about that. PJ, we'll get it back courtside to you along with Kugler and Robbie Hummel coming up momentarily. We bring back in Nick Bond. Nick, the reality of Kelvin Sampson, we talked about this at the Final Four within the bubble 4 years ago. He had the unintended break from college basketball when he had the show cause after the penalty because of too many phone calls and text messages with Indiana. He did not coach in college for 6 years, but he has taken a Houston program that was once one of the prides of college basketball that was dormant for 25.
Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight during the Final Four match. Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight during the Final Four matchup. Duke versus Houston. What a game we have here tonight. Who is going to put that last step up in the bracket all the way to the national championship game with a victory tonight?
With every like, share, and subscribe, the Toronto Sports Insider community is turning March Madness into a movement for SickKids Hospital. Every interaction helps raise donations for life-saving treatments. It's simple. Watch the games, fill out a bracket, and spread the word. The more we grow, the bigger our impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So like, subscribe, and share, because every click impacts SickKids' mission to heal the future.
A big shout out to the mods, the wrenches. We see you in the chat. Those bots are insane. And I am so thankful, and the chat is very thankful to have you here getting rid of those bots. Keep it up, wrenches. I see you in there. Great work. Now let's get back to the basketball. Keep it classy. Have some fun in the chat.
From Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line Gold Unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Florida's in the title game. Who's going to join the Gators? We find out in 40 minutes of action. It is Duke. It is Houston. And we go back courtside. It is Kevin Kugler, Robbie Hummel, and PJ Carlissimo.
Horowitz, thanks so much. You and Nick Baugh doing a tremendous job as Houston and Duke get set to go with Florida waiting in the national championship game. And it's time for the keys to the game, sponsored by Realtors. Buying a home can be a lot, but with the ethical expertise of a realtor, you don't have to do it alone. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. All right, let's start with Robbie Hummel. What do you see?
Well, for Houston, and Nick kind of touched on this a little bit, they want to be the aggressor. Come out, punch Duke in the mouth, be the most physical team they've seen all year long. It will matter how this game is officiated, but for the Houston Cougars, it's about physicality. It's about controlling the tempo because they play at one of the slowest paces in all of college basketball. For the Duke Blue Devils, you better handle that physicality. It's the glass, it's certainly the turnovers, but if you're not going to be able to deal with that, you're going to have problems. Houston will put 2 on the ball. If it's a pick and roll, it's a hard hedge. If you want to post Cooper Flagg, there's 2 people coming over. You have to make them pay for that. Purdue was able to do it. Tennessee wasn't. We'll see how Duke handles that.
PJ Carlissimo, what do you see for this one?
Well, Nick Baugh working up there with Horowitz made a great point. Houston needs their threes. They shoot at .397. That's 5th in the country. They're going to need those points if they're going to be competitive. They got to limit Duke's fast break points and Duke's points in the paint. For Duke, no question, Robbie talked about it. You got a defensive rebound against the Cougars, and I think Duke has got to continue to get to the free throw line. They shoot more than 15 a game. This is going to be physical. They got to live on the line.
Let's check the starting lineup, sponsored by Cintas. Workdays are better when you partner with Cintas. Keep your team protected, prepared, and looking great. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday. For Houston, L.J. Cryer, the 6'1 graduate from Katy, Texas, averages 15 points points per game. Milos Uzan, the Oklahoma transfer, 12 points, 4.5 assists per game. Emmanuel Sharp hit some big threes last weekend. He averages 13 points, the 6'3 junior from Tampa, Florida. Joseph Tugler, JoJo Tugler, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, 5.5 points, 6 rebounds per game. And Juwan Roberts, the first-team All-Big 12 player, 10.5 points, 6.5 rebounds per game. For Duke, in the backcourt, Tyrese Proctor, the 6'6 junior and the veteran, 12.5 points. Con Knippel, the 6'7 freshman, 14 points per game. Sion James, the third guard in that backcourt, averaging 9 points, 4 rebounds per game. And then up front, the player of the year, the Wooden Award winner, the 6'9 freshman Cooper Flagg, 19 points per game. And Kaman Malawach in the middle, the 7'2 freshman from South Sudan, 9 points, 7 rebounds per game. Let's check in with Andy Katz.
Well, Kevin, I was on the court right prior to the tip-off talking to Kelvin Sampson. I said, what do you do that's so well defensively against a star player like Cooper Flagg? He says, we throw him our fastball. We don't throw curveballs. That's how we've won all season long. We stick with the fastball.
All right, it's time for the opening tip, sponsored by AutoZone. What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Malawach will jump it up against Tugler. Malawach at 7'2", Tugler at 6'8". The tip controlled by Houston. And we're underway in the road black uniforms. Houston, black tops and bottoms, red numerals on front and back. Duke in the home whites with the blue trim and the blue numerals on front and back. Set up in the right-hand offensive zone. It's Juwan Roberts. He'll go to work, trying to drive against Flagg. Jumper up in the paint. Looked like a lot of contact, and it was tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Houston. 13 to shoot. Flagg is fortunate he didn't pick up his first foul.
Absolutely, Kevin. That's just one-on-one. Juwan Roberts. Scouting report says he's getting back to that left hand. Cooper Flagg fortunate. Plenty of contact there. Refs say play on.
Pryor at the top of the key off the inbound with 9 to shoot. Pryor trying to find some room. Back out on the right-hand side. Picked up on a switch as Pryor drives baseline to skip into the left corner. The three and up by Uzan and out of bounds. Tipped out, I believe, by Houston. It'll belong to Duke. And JoJo Tugler came running out saying, let's review it. And now they're going to converse about it. And I believe it's going to be Houston ball, perhaps. They're going to go check the shot clock to make sure there's still 1 on the shot clock. So 30 seconds in, we get a review.
Milos Uzan, up and down scoring. We saw him in Indianapolis. He was phenomenal against Purdue, only had 6 against Tennessee. He got an open shot there, shoots an air ball to start. Going to be very interesting to see how the guy that's played so much better over the last 2 months settles in here.
0.3 of a second on the shot clock.
Got to watch for the lob.
Uzan will inbound for Houston. Looking. In it comes. Sharp throws it at the rim, and it's a shot clock violation.
You can't control that.
No.
It's got to be thrown up and tipped.
Can't catch and shoot with 0.3 of a second left, and it's a turnover to Duke.
This hasn't been a good day for underneath out of bounds.
The clinic is not in these games,
wow.
That's for sure.
Tyrese Proctor will bring it up top to Knippel. Knippel over to the right side, and Sion James. James working against Uzan. Feeds it over to Knippel, drops it off to Flagg. Up and under move, Flagg's floater won't go. Rebound batted in the air, swatted around. 5 or 6 players had a hand on it. Ended up with Roberts of Houston. Now Sharp will bring it up the floor. Tugler trailing on the play. He got hit on that play, and a foul called on Malawach as he turned the corner, driving down the left side of that lane, and Sharp draws the foul.
That's a great example, though, of just the way that Houston's defense can swarm. It's that screen re-screen. They love to run for Knippel. Looks like Cooper Flagg's going to have an opportunity rolling to the rim, but Houston on the rotation so sharp. That defense getting it done on that first possession.
So Tugler will go to the bench. He got dinged up a little bit on that last play down the floor, and he'll go sit on the bench for the moment as Javier Francis checks in, the 6'8 senior. Houston going to work with Pryor on the right-hand wing. 12 to shoot. Sharp, deep three, left side. That won't go. Juwan Roberts, offensive rebound out to Pryor. 3 right wing is good. Offensive rebound and a triple. The recipe for Houston all year.
It's going to be the big storyline throughout this game. How about Juwan Roberts there? Long rebound. You're kicking it out. LJ Cryer, one of the best shooters in college basketball, getting a step-in look. He's coming off a bounce-back game against Tennessee where he knocked down a couple threes in that one as well.
Cooper Flagg blocked off on the drive by Francis. Here comes Knippel turning the corner on Sharp. Gets inside, got the contact and a foul. Shot won't go, but the foul on Javier Xavier Francis, who had come over to block his path on the right side of the lane. That's his first.
Knipple is outstanding at coming to a jump stop and then just finding his way, whether it's pivoting, getting to his turnaround jumper, but being under control. A guy that maybe doesn't look like the most physically imposing, but he knows how to score the ball.
It's never too early to start planning for the 2026 NCAA Men's Final Four, April 4th and 6th in Indianapolis. Visit ncaa.com/Men's Final Four and apply for your seats today. First free throw is good. If Con Knipple is not on a team with Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple has a lot more people talking about him this year.
There is no question about that. Second team All-ACC, part of the All-Rookie team, made the All-Regional team. Second foul shot is good. Over the last three, he's been phenomenal. 17 points a game, 55 from the field, 66 from three.
Uzan will bring it up Houston by 1, 3-2. Cryer handing it off to Sharp. Sharp looking, flips it over to Francis. Francis on the right-hand wing. Proctor will sag off. He'll dribble over to the left side, gives it to Uzan with 10 on the shot clock. Uzan facing off against Knipple. Rises up for a three. Dies on the left side of the rim. Offensive rebound. Roberts throws it over to the right side and Cryer. Cryer weaving through traffic. Gets to the free throw line. Fades away. Shot short. Rebound tipped out of bounds and it'll belong to Duke.
It's going to take all 5 Blue Devils on the floor. And it's a big deal with JoJo Tugler, him out of the game. But Xavier Francis is outstanding on the offensive glass as well. He and Roberts, they can burn you.
Tugler on the exercise bike on the Houston sideline right now. Flagg at the top of the key. Quiet start for Flagg in his first Final Four, and likely his only Final Four. Flagg drives to the rim, down the right side of the lane. Layup won't go. Rebound batted around in the air. Ends up with Uzan of Houston. He'll push it up the floor. Ahead to Sharp. Sharp a little hesitation. Bump, spins, drives to the rim. Off the window, no. Roberts again with the offensive rebound. That's his third already. Here's Uzan working against Knipple. 13 to shoot. He'll back it out. Waving Roberts forward, calling him out for a screen. He'll take that screen, works around it, drops it off to Roberts in the paint. Runner won't go, and the rebound Cooper Flagg of Duke. Flagg now will navigate up, still 3-2 Houston. Skip into the right corner. James for three. That one dies off the left side of the rim into the arms of Francis of Houston.
Pace is going to be so interesting. Duke wants to speed it up. Houston wants to put you in the grinder. Who can control the tempo of this game?
There's Cryer now, 17 on the shot clock, dribbling middle of the floor, facing Cooper Flagg. Step back three, top of the key, Cryer. That won't go. Houston 1 for 9 from the floor. Duke 0 for 3. Proctor now will navigate up the floor. Lob down low to Cooper Flagg. Double comes in that left baseline. Now a single against Cryer. Flagg. He's got Uzan lurking. The Flagg will go to work. Tried to lob it to Malawach, and he missed the lob. Turnover back to Houston. Here comes Cryer around the screen. Skips it out to Sharp. Sharp driving baseline. Went up for the shot. He's fouled. As he got to that right baseline, the foul on Proctor, that will be his first, team's second.
Duke turns it over on that lob play, but that's got to be a weapon that's in their back pocket, because if Xavier Francis is going to come over, the lob threat that Common Malawach is, you throw that thing up there, he's going to go and get him. You're going to have to be really on it if you're Houston, of cracking down and getting to the body of Malawach on those types of plays.
Sharp at the free throw line. First free throw bounces off. Robin Hood Gold gets you a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions. The new gold standard is here. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. One more for Sharp. Normally an excellent free throw shooter at 88% on the year. Second leading scorer on the team hits the free throw. He'll get a breather right now as Malik Wilson will check in, the 6'3 graduate who began his career at Louisiana, then went through Texas Tech before coming to Houston. 4-2 lead for the Houston Cougars. Just about 4 minutes gone in this first half. Caleb Foster, the 6'5 sophomore, will walk it up for Duke. Foster explodes around the screen, skips it to Knipple, right corner three, up and down for Knipple, and Duke with the lead 5-4.
That's a tremendous pass, though, from Caleb Foster. He's coming off that ball screen, top of the key, going to his left. The help's coming over, and he is spraying that thing across the floor to Knipple.
Here's Uzan, double team comes, runs out, Flagg with the steal, keeps his feet in bounds and throws the ball into play to Foster. Foster on the run to the other end, off the window, no good. Long rebound tipped out, Flagg has it, diving on the floor, ball is loose, Uzan has it, flips it in the air, ends up in the hands of Wilson, waiting at the rim, lays lays it in as Flagg flies by, and Houston leads 6-5.
Those are those 50-50 plays that can win you a game. We have plenty of time left, but the first one going the way of the Cougars, opportunistic. Duke has a chance there to make a play. Houston goes the other way.
To nipple a quick three on this end, part of your pace of play. Duke gets the quick shot, can't get the three. Now Wilson will bring it up. 6-5 Houston. Wilson dancing to the free throw line. Off the back iron with a fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebound Caleb Foster. Foster a little bobble on his dribble. Gets it under control across the half-court line. Foster now middle of the floor. 14:45 to play first half. Knipple around the screen. Dribbles it back out. Right side Flagg. Three. Up and in for the Wooden Award. The National Player of the Year, All-American Cooper Flagg has got an 8-6 Duke lead.
Can't lose track of him. Even if Knipple is coming off the screen and gets some penetration, you can't get caught ball watching. Cooper Flagg, 37% from three on the year.
And now Uzan harassed on the perimeter by Foster. Double shows. He'll back off. Uzan now dribbling. Goes down the lane. A runner. Pinballs out. No good. And a rebound scooped up by Foster for Duke. 8-6 Duke. We played a long time without a stoppage. Still no under 16 media timeout. Proctor on the run. Down the right side of the lane. The floater drops and it's 10-6 Duke.
I've been so impressed with watching Duke's offense. The way they get their screening action, especially for Tyrese Proctor. Just pin him in. Let him come off that thing. Curl it. Get to the rim and make a play.
Houston just 2 for 12 from the floor. Here's Uzan. Back it goes mid-floor to Scheyer in the right-hand offensive zone. Scheyer probing left wing. He'll try to penetrate. Gets to the left elbow. Tough fadeaway again, and he gets it to drop. Not an easy shot, but Scheyer found the bottom of the net. It's a 10-8 ball game.
Big-time play there. L.J. Scheyer using the spin, but also that jump stop. It's almost like a step-back jumper. Think of that Penny Hardaway shot that was so famous from so many years ago, but they needed that. Houston gets off the schneid here offensively.
Flagg stands with the ball above his head, top of the key, now brings it down to his waist. One dribble bounce to the right to Proctor. Proctor doubled, pushed out towards the timeline. Flagg at the top, working against Terrence Arsenault. Jumper over, Arsenault won't go. Rebound ends up with Uzan. Oh, we're going to have a stack of timeouts at this pace. Uzan will bring it up the floor to Scheyer. Under 13 to play first half. Scheyer now weaving around the Francis screen. Scheyer steps back for a three. Scheyer has it pinball out. Got a really good look, and Foster the rebound. Quickly up the floor to Flagg. Flagg on the attack, driving all the way to the rim, hanging on rims with two hands. He throws it down, and it's 12-8 Duke.
And that just shows how potent Duke can be in the open floor. Fourth in the ACC in fast break points per game, but the floor balance isn't there. Houston's not matching up, and Cooper Flagg takes it 94 feet.
Uzan gets to the right elbow, around the screen. Jumper won't go. Flagg the rebound for Duke. 12:23 to go in this first half. Foster will bring it up. We're about to have back-to-back timeouts. Get excited, America.
There's got to be some tired bodies on the floor.
Gimba finds Knipple cutting from left to right, and he lays it in on the right baseline. Duke with a 6-point lead, 14-8.
Well, Tom Knipple, a very good cutter off the ball. You get caught ball watching even a little bit. He's in that left corner. He's operating on the baseline. Great pass, better cut from Knipple.
Left side, it's Scheyer now. Under 12 to play first half. Scheyer on the drive, down the right side of the lane, and a foul on Patrick Gungba.
And some guys say, thank you, God.
Yes, exactly. Patrick Gungba, the most popular man on the floor, as he commits the foul to bring us to the under 16 media timeout. It comes at 11:51 to play in the first half. So that means another dead ball and another timeout. 14-8 Duke from the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. This is the men's Final Four.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Traveling in basketball? Bad move. Traveling the world? Great move. Wherever the road takes you, Best Western is your place to take a time out and catch your breath. Because every team needs a place to regroup. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at Best Western. Book direct and save at bestwestern.com.
People always ask me, Guy, why are you so confident? And I tell them because I shop for a used car with Carfax. Why Carfax? Because I was able to pause for the facts. What kind of facts? Used car facts. Facts. Like which car has been in a reported accident, which ride has the best value, facts. Which car will have me feeling so confident that I'll just turn up the radio facts. And roll down the windows facts. And belt out show tunes, knowing full well that I cannot sing. Facts. Carfax is the answer. Shop the all-new Carfax.com.
This season, it's not just madness on the hardwood, but outdoors in the yard too. No matter the challenge, Ego Outdoor Power Equipment delivers incredible power and performance. From yard work essentials like mowers, blowers, chainsaws, and trimmers to innovations such as portable power stations and cordless pressure washers. You could use the same battery to power over 90 tools. That's why Ego has over 200,000 five-star reviews and counting. Check out the winning lineup at egopowerplus.com.
Let's check each team's tournament resume, sponsored by Monster.com. Monster.com empowers you to score big on your next position and win the job hunt. Get off the bench and go to Monster.com today. Monster.com provides great coaching and millions of job openings. Slam dunk with Monster.com today. Duke, the number 1 seed in the East, a 35-3 record. They went 19-1 in the ACC. This Duke squad went through Mount St. Mary's, Baylor, Arizona, and Alabama to get here into this one. For the Houston Cougars, the number 1 seed in the Midwest, 34-4 this season. They went through SIU Edwardsville, they went through Gonzaga, they went through Purdue, and they went through Tennessee on their way to the Final Four. Mike Krzyzewski on hand tonight. PJ Carlesimo, as he looks on, what have you seen from these two teams in this first, now almost 8 minutes plus?
Well, good news, bad news for Duke. They're up 14-8, which is great, but Houston's got 5 offensive rebounds already. Fortunately, they're not making it. The game seems to be more at Houston's pace, and Duke's freshmen are obviously bothered. They've only got 12 of the first 14 points.
What a big moment for these guys. Too big. I think it's interesting to see that the Houston guards that have been so good all year long, Cryer, Uzan, Sharp, 2 for 11 to start from the field.
If they're not making shots, there's no way they can compete with Duke. I mean, when you got the best offensive team against the best defensive team, you still need to score some points. You're not shutting Duke out.
First free throw is good by Cryer, and before he shoots the second free throw, we get the under 12 media timeout. That's the kind of action you love. 1 free throw and a break. 14-9 Duke, 11:51 still remaining in the first half. You're listening to the Men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Have you heard? Kohl's has 2 exclusive new home brands, Miriana and Mingle & Co. From luxe favorites that are all about turning your space into a sanctuary to fun mix and match dining essentials, there's so much.
Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight during the Final Four matchup. Duke versus Houston. What a game we have here tonight. Who is going to put that last step up in the bracket all the way to the national championship game with a victory tonight?
With every like, share, and subscribe, the Toronto Sports Insider community is turning March Madness into a movement for SickKids Hospital. Every interaction helps raise donations for life-saving treatments. It's simple. Watch the games, fill out a bracket, and spread the word. The more we grow, the bigger our impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So like, subscribe, and share, because every click impacts SickKids' mission to heal the future.
A big shout
Classic
out to the mods,
chips fried
the
in
wrenches.
100% grass-fed beef tallow. No seed oils, no fake ingredients, just real crunch. Code MM30 gets you 30% off your first order at massachips.com. PJ, you were eavesdropping on Tracy Wolfson's conversation during the break with Coach Scheyer. What did you find out?
Yeah, she referenced yesterday, she said that Coach John Scheyer had told her yesterday we have to somehow match their physicality. And she said, well, they've got 5 offensive rebounds. He said, yeah, but early on, he said they hurt us with 1. Jawan Roberts got a rebound, kicked it out. LJ Cryer made that 3. He said, since then, we've been fine. Tracy said, thank you. Continue to rebound the ball. That was it.
Well, that's certainly something everybody was focusing on in this game because that's the recipe, Robbie, for Houston is rebound, hit the offensive glass, and shoot the threes, which is what they're better at this year than they were last year.
I think with all of Duke's youth, you've got to be really encouraged if you're John Scheyer because we watched, Kevin and I, last weekend in Indianapolis, we watched Tennessee from the jump get absolutely out-physicaled, out-muscled, out-toughed. And Duke has certainly given up some offensive rebounds, but they have answered the bell from a physicality standpoint. Going to be interesting to see over the next 12 minutes if Houston can wear them down or if Duke stays up with that level that we have seen early on.
Well, that physicality bothered Tennessee from the opening
No
tip
question.
in that game. Cryer at the line for one more. Now we're back even in timeout land. Second free throw, pinball's out, no good for a 92% free throw shooter.
Iced him right there.
Yeah. So up the floor comes Caleb Foster for Duke. 5-point game. Hand off to Malik Brown. Brown on a hard bounce to a cutter. That's Foster who bobbled it, got it back under duress. Swing around and Duke will reset with 10 to shoot. Over to the right side, it's Brown. Ball tipped away. Roberts with the steal. And Jawan Roberts running to the rim. Misses the layup. And the rebound from Mason Gillis and a foul.
There is a lid on the rim for the Houston Cougars. I mean, 3 of 16 from the field. It's a great play from Jawan Roberts to get a hand on that basketball, but that's one that he's got to make.
Without question, and they also got to make their free throws. You referenced 2 really good shooters, Sharp and Cryer, have both split a pair.
A little crossover. Foster gets free, drives down the right side of the lane, and he draws the foul. Boy, Foster with a beautiful crossover at the top of the key. And the foul is called against Houston, and that'll mean 2 shots coming as Uzan picks up his 2nd personal foul.
That's a big development right there. I like the way that Caleb Foster, one of the more experienced guys on this Duke team, obviously a freshman last year, has played. He's brought a real pace aspect to it, and Foster making things happen early.
Kevin Kugler, Robbie Hummel, and PJ Carlissimo here at our Grainger courtside seats in San Antonio. For the ones who get it done, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade products for all industries, fast delivery, and free technical support. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Both free throws missed. Rebound batted in the air. Knipple ends up with it, slithers to the rim and lays it in.
That ball just gets batted in the air, and as soon as Knipple had that offensive rebound, it was just burning it to the rim. Opportunistic right there, and Duke giving Houston a little taste of their own medicine.
Tugler back on the floor for Houston. Calls for it, top of the key against Gillis. Ball jarred out of his hands, and a foul on Tugler. He went after Mason Gillis, who had come up with the loose ball, and Tugler, in some frustration, commits the personal foul, and Duke will inbound.
What a luxury to have a guy like a Mason Gillis who played in last year's national title game. You've got the role guys for Duke. Malik Brown batting that ball in the air for the offensive rebound, and now Mason Gillis making a play.
And Houston takes a timeout. 10:47 to go in this first half. The Cougars are 3 of 16 from the floor. They trail 16-9. You're listening to the Men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Have you heard? Kohl's has 2 exclusive new home brands, Miriana and Mingle & Co. From luxe favorites that are all about turning your space into a sanctuary to fun mix and match dining essentials, there's so much to discover. And trust me, you're gonna love everything. Plus, you can get an extra 20% off throughout the store during our Friends and Family Sale. So hurry to Kohl's today and bring it all.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you.
I'm talking to you, one of the thousands of people that's hanging out with us here in the chat for the Final Four. We're running our SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign where we're raising money for a local hospital in Toronto, which is doing amazing, amazing work and just celebrated a huge anniversary. 150 years for SickKids Hospital.
Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us. So why not make it official? hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a live game. We're on a mission to hit 100,000 insiders, and you can help us grow this amazing community of sports fans making a difference. Join the conversation, keep it classy, and we'll see you in the chat. Good luck to your team and your bracket.
We really appreciate you being here. Thanks for turning on that bell. We'll see you back in the chat.
Your next career move. With great coaching and millions of job openings, Monster.com empowers you to score your next position and win the job hunt. Get off the bench and go to Monster.com today.
Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Duke with a 16-9 lead, 10:47 remaining in this opening half. It's time for the Coles fact of the game. Duke has won its last 15 straight, and it's 17 in a row for Houston, coming into tonight, making this just the 4th Final Four game since the field expanded in 1985 to feature 2 teams on winning streaks of 15 or more games. All of them involve the Blue Devils of Duke. It last happened in 1999. Mike Krzyzewski's team beat Michigan State. Happened twice in 1986 when Coach K made his first Final Four. First, Duke broke Kansas's 16-game streak in the national semifinals before losing their own 21-game streak as Denny Crum and Louisville claimed the title. That's the fact of the game, sponsored by Kohl's. Make this spring a stylish one with on-trend looks for every occasion when you shop at Kohl's and Kohl's.com, where families come first. Mason Gillis, the Purdue transfer, will inbound to Caleb Foster. Foster now over on the left-hand wing. Up top goes to Con Knipple in the left-hand offensive zone. They find Tyrese Proctor. Proctor dancing back and forth between the circles. Goes to Knipple, trying to penetrate. Can't find any room against Sharp, but 10 to shoot. Work around to the right side in Foster. Foster with 6 on the shot clock. He'll turn the corner, drives into the paint, jump stop. Shot won't go. Follow-up is there from Malik Brown on the offensive rebound and the putback on the right block. 18-9 Duke.
Well, Houston has to come over and bring help for the Caleb Foster drive, and that leaves the offensive rebounder, Malik Brown, all by himself there on the weak side for the easy putback.
And Houston had the early edge 7-1 on the glass, but since then it's been Duke 10-4 on the glass. Pryor and Houston needing some offense. Pryor dribbles it off his foot, ends up in the hands of Roberts. Roberts on the block, diving for it, lost it out of his hands and out of bounds to Duke. Tangled up with Malik Brown, who played great defense. The Syracuse transfer forcing the turnover.
And Malik Brown is just sitting on that right shoulder. He knows Juwan Roberts wants to get to his left hand. That's knowing the scouting report. That's a heck of a play. Malik Brown with that injured shoulder has impacted this game through the first 10 minutes.
Here's Foster over to the left wing. Now Malik Brown. Tugler on him with 14 to shoot. Duke up 18-9. Knipple driving baseline. Double team comes. Throws up a wild shot. Gillis catches the air ball. He finds Proctor for 3. It pinballs out no good. Rebound Knipple. Another chance for Duke. Proctor on the drive. In the scramble. Gets to the rim. That shot won't go, and the rebound finally ends up with Roberts of Houston. Sharp now on the move, trying to work against Foster. Double comes, and Gillis knocks Sharp to the ground. A foul on Mason Gillis with 9:11 remaining in the first half.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Houston has got to do a better job on the defensive glass. You look at Duke on the season, they're top 55 in offensive rebound percentage, so they have had a team that can get to the glass. But Houston, way too many second chance opportunities in this last 4-minute stretch.
And no buckets since the 13:37 mark for Houston as Terrence Arsenault returns to the lineup. Malik Wilson checking out.
And Rob, some of them, in fact, most of them are rolling rebounds, bouncing rebounds. It's not like they're jumping 3 feet over the rim. They're out hustling.
It's the hustle plays, totally.
Cryer will inbound right baseline. How many times they say anybody out hustles Houston? Hard to outwork this team. Sharp in between the circles will dribble it up middle of the floor. 15 to shoot. Sharp brings it over to the left-hand side, working against Isaiah Evans. A lot of dribbling. Tugler back, it goes to Sharp. Sharp pounding the basketball down the right side of the lane. Wild shot won't go. Shot up by Roberts on the weak side after the miss. The foul is called underneath. The shot blocked away by Malawach, and it'll be 2 shots coming for Roberts.
Well, that's the thing about Houston, though. At times, their best offense is just get it up there and let Tugler and let Roberts and those guys chase it down. It's quite the block from Malawach there, but plenty of contact down low. Houston needs to cash in on some of these foul shots here, get that offense going.
Roberts at the line. Misses the free throw. Download the all-new Westwood One Sports app and catch every remaining minute of the men's and women's tournaments anytime, anywhere, and be sure to keep the app on your mobile device year-round as we bring you prime-time NFL action next fall. Get the Westwood One Sports app today for iOS and Android. Houston now 2 of 5 at the line. Roberts and makes it an 18-10 lead, breaking a nearly 3-minute Houston scoring drought. Duke with the advantage by 8. 18-10. Here's James, penetrates, back up top, he works it to Cooper Flagg, back off the bench, Flagg penetrating, dumps it down low, Malawach is there, blocked by Tugler. Malawach got it thrown out of the gym by Tugler. Houston on the run. Ahead to Scheyer, back it goes to Sharp, he'll launch a deep contested three, no hit! Defense turns to offense, and Houston within 5.
Emmanuel Sharp, no stranger to big-time moments. MOP of the Big 12 tournament, MOP of the Midwest Regional, and Houston's offense a little bit on life support there. They needed that one. That one from well beyond the three-point line.
Gillis will try a deep three. That's not necessarily his game. The rebound long to Scheyer. Scheyer weaving through traffic, dumps it left side. Jumper on the baseline, deep 2, rolls out for Arsenault. Long rebound, Scheyer secures it for Houston. He'll back up, dumps it down low, right block, Roberts turning, going to work against Flagg, floats it over the right side of the rim, and Houston within 3 at 18-15.
How about the physicality right there? Houston's showing some life. Juwan Roberts, you know he wants to get to that left. The scouting report says that Cooper Flagg's taking it away, so Juwan Roberts just buries that shoulder right into him, knocks him back, and scores it anyway.
And a timeout called by Duke, and Kelvin Sampson, the 69-year-old head coach of Houston, threw back-to-back fist pumps as he brings his team around in the huddle. 18-15 Duke by 3. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
In the face of uncertainty, some things remain steady, like the Cummins 2027 X15. Built on 25-plus years of experience and delivering up to 4% better fuel efficiency in a weight-neutral system, the X15 gives you the strength to move forward fearlessly and confidence that no matter the obstacle, you can and will rise above it. The 2027 X15, forever rising. Estimates based on preliminary testing. Individual results may vary.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. With Indeed Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, with Indeed Sponsored Jobs, there are no monthly subscriptions, and you only pay for results. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Later on, we'll select a smart coaching move of the day, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Speaking of coaching moves, Pete. Kelvin Sampson was talking with Tracy Wolfson a moment ago. What do you have to say?
Yeah, she asked him why you're struggling offensively. He said, well, we're going at matchups that we like to attack, and we've got some guys playing uncharacteristically tight. So he liked what they're trying to do. He certainly doesn't like the outcome. But, you know, as he said, these are guys we've been with all year. He said, we've been behind before. We're not changing anything.
Well, Duke's missed 5 straight field goal attempts after starting 7 of 14. You knew that Houston defense was going to show up, but would the offense follow? And they've hit 2 of their last 3 after a 3 for 17 start.
Well, since the last timeout, since Kelvin took that 30-second timeout, it looked like Houston basketball for the first time since this game has started. All of a sudden, their defense, they get a block shot, they get a hustle rebound down here and score. That's the way Houston played. They didn't play that way the first 12 minutes.
Kelvin tends to have a way with words that can maybe jumpstart some energy, I would say. I'm sure that was used there.
It doesn't help him that Milos Uzan is on the bench with 2 fouls and an 0 for 4 start tonight. Inbound to Sion James for Duke. Blue Devils with a 3-point lead. Malawach sent down by James. He'll go over to Knipple. Back it goes James, top of the key. James directing traffic left and right. Backs it up now, top of the key. Finds Flagg with 10 to shoot. Cooper Flagg, the freshman, the player of the year in America, lobbing underneath. James caught it in the paint. Goes to the left block. His shot challenged well by Roberts, and it's no good.
How about Juwan Roberts being behind the play, but walling up, not getting an angle, and Houston gets a stop.
Pryor now will navigate up for Houston. Within 3 with the ball, coming up on 7 to play first half. Kelvin Sampson behind the team, clapping and screaming loudly. He's letting him know what he wants. 11 to shoot. Pryor to work. Drops it to Roberts. Roberts on the drive against Malawach, who changed that shot. It's no good. Offensive rebound, though. Arsenault. Right elbow fadeaway is blocked by Cooper Flagg. Flagg will start it up the floor. Flagg waiting for some help now as he finds Sion James. James now on the right-hand wing. Flagg holds it on his left hip. He'll put it on the deck, driving on Pryor. Gets to the left elbow, spins in the paint, fades away from the right elbow. Shot bounces off the rim, no, and Knipple knocks it out of bounds to Houston.
I love the fact, though, Cooper Flagg doesn't want that pick and roll because you're just bringing another defensive player. He's got the matchup there with Pryor. He's phenomenal with that spin of using his size. He gets what he wants there. John Scheyer will take that every time down the floor.
I'm laughing at my buddy Kelvin Sampson. He's clapping for Arsenault when he got the offensive rebound. Then when he tried to shoot the jump shot over Cooper Flagg, he started screaming. I've been there. Same guy 2 seconds later.
Roberts over to Sharp. Sharp with Malawach pushing him out near the half-court line. He throws it away, forcing the turnover. James ahead. It goes to Proctor. Houston gets back so quickly defensively. He's got to reorganize with James on the left-hand wing. Still 18-15 Duke. 5:48 to go first half. Knipple at the top of the key. Working it over to the right side and Flagg. Flagg will send it underneath to Malawach, who takes it to the rim, slams it home for 2, and a chance for one more at the line after the foul.
Houston will be aggressive, Kevin. They're going to be up on any pick and roll. Cooper Flagg is the handler. Malawach is the screener. As Tugler gets out, great job by Common Malawach of slipping that to the rim. We saw him with an opportunity earlier in the game to be at the rim. This one way more with authority.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for the national championships.
College Sports Radio is your home for the NCAA tournament.
For the win, it's good!
Hear reaction all day long on SiriusXM Channel 84 and the SiriusXM app.
Malawach converts on the three-point play, hits the free throw. He will leave. Substitution, Malik Brown comes back in. Caleb Foster returning for Sion James. That dunk broke a string of 7 straight missed field goals for Duke, and it extends the lead with the three-point play to 21-15. Does Houston have another offensive surge? And I put surge in quotes because 6 points was the surge. Wilson brings it across. Wilson harassed, gets to the left elbow, backs out on the left wing. Wilson, a lot of dribbling over to Arsenault. Arsenault sizing up Knipple. Around the screen, Arsenault, free throw line jumper and air ball caught underneath by Wilson. 5 to shoot, 4 to shoot, drops it off. Roberts has the ball knocked out of his hands, and it goes out of bounds. It'll belong to the Duke Blue Devils.
Terrence Arsenault is trying not to look at Kelvin Sampson right now because he doesn't have great things to say about that shot. Looks like Juwan Roberts is going to have that ball. That's another winning play by Malik Brown and just getting in there and mixing it up.
Here's Malik Brown on the right-hand wing. He'll feed it to Proctor, curling off the screen, banks it off the window from the free throw line, and Duke leads at 23-15. The inbound almost taken away by Foster, but it caroms into the hands of Malik Wilson.
Duke runs great stuff for their shooter. Simple pin down, bring Proctor off it. He has shot terrifically in the NCAA tournament.
Wilson driving, gets into the paint. Shot over Flagg, barely grazes the rim. We've got a whistle and it's out of bounds. It'll belong to the Blue Devils.
How about the block out, though? Caleb Foster at 6'5", taking on JoJo Tugler, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He's trying to get to the offensive glass. You got a great block out. Foster taking him almost into the stanchion, and then let him know about it as everybody else starting to walk towards the other end.
And Houston cold again, 3 minutes plus without a point. Foster will bring it up. Foster walking it across. Coming up on 4 to play in the first half. Knipple back over to the right side, and Foster jarred as he drives inside. The ball pops out of his hands, and it's secured by Roberts of Houston. A turnover for Duke. Pryor now will walk it up. Cougars a little frustrated offensively. Pryor around the screen, slips, bats the ball to Sharp. 3 on the right wing. Halfway down, it pops back up. And the rebound into the arms of Foster. He got poked in the left eye as he grabbed it. Gets rid of the basketball to Flagg. And Foster says, I don't want the ball right now. I'm going to wipe out this eye. So Flagg will take it himself. He'll drive. Now the dish into the corner. Back to Proctor. Jumps a pass. Knipple. Left corner 3. Got it. Ball movement exemplary. Duke by 11, their largest lead, as Knipple hits the 3. He's got 12.
Great offense by the Blue Devils. Paint touch with the bounce. Swing it to the corner. Extra pass. You get the ball movement going around, and the Duke Blue Devils offense starting to find their rhythm.
On an 8-0 run as Pryor gets the basketball for Houston. On the right side, looking at Proctor, dumps it to Roberts. Roberts working against Brown, spins baseline and takes out some frustration on the rim with a 2-hand hammer.
Luke Brown is trying to bring a level of physicality, and with Juwan Roberts, when you got that, the defender's trying to get into you, just spin off and spin baseline. Great drive on the baseline.
Push the pass to Flagg on the right-hand wing. Cooper Flagg with 5 tonight. 2 for 6 shooting. Flagg into the paint, dumps it down low. All alone under the basket is Malik Brown with a right-hand layup.
Cooper Flagg has made a couple passes tonight. There's really one thing to say. That is NBA right there. Get your game on and set your teammates up.
2 assists for Flagg. Arsenault middle of the floor with Houston down 11. Arsenault getting more run with Uzan in foul trouble. Dumps it into the paint. Spinning inside. Francis throws it at the rim with contact and a foul from Foster. And a timeout on the floor. First Foster foul takes us to the under 4 media timeout. 28-17. Duke by 11. 2:36 to play. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we.
Hey, Insiders! First and foremost, Mike and Allison want to thank you for being part of this amazing community. With March Madness in full swing, we need your help. The TSI Bracket Mania campaign is raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto through the Final Four. A portion of the proceeds from every single game goes directly to SickKids. Click the pinned link in the chat or the description to donate. Every bit helps. Can't donate? No problem. Just share the campaign with your friends or on social media to make a huge impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Clink the link, and holy Mackinac, let's help heal the future.
Coached him to a national championship in 2010. Now he's trying to coach Duke to a title. When you coached him in 2010, what did you think he had in him that we're seeing now as a head coach?
Well, John always saw the game a play ahead. That's what the great ones do, the guys that become coaches. You know, he always saw the game at a slow pace. He was always a really smart player, student of the game. And the great thing about John, the bigger the game, the better he was. The bigger the moment, he always showed up. He always played his best. And it's not a surprise to any of us that have been around him that he's done the job he's done.
Got a chance to win a title and then coach for a title. You're watching this game. You're very familiar with this kind of physical player. How do you assess the way Duke has handled Houston's physicality?
Well, I think the thing Duke doesn't get enough credit for is how physical and tough they are. I mean, they are elite defensively. They're length at the rim. The shot quality you're seeing Houston get, they're long, fadeaway, contested twos. I think if Duke can continue to defend like that, they're going to be in great shape.
And they added a player you're very familiar with, and Mason Gillis, to add some of that toughness. He was at Purdue. You competed against him. What'd you think of that kind of addition through the portal, and Sion James as well?
Well, I think the thing John did really well, he knew he had a special freshman class. In order, when you get to the Final Four, when you get to this level, you have to have some veterans, some gritty guys that have been in big games, that have the poise, and they did an amazing job with Sion James, Mason Gillis, Malik Brown. Those guys have been great pieces for them.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Thank you, Andy.
Back to you, Kevin.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. A 28-17 lead for Duke, 2:36 remaining in this opening half. Blue Devils have hit 4 of their last 6 shots. Foster with a foul before the timeout. 2 free throws coming for the Houston Cougars. Make this spring a stylish one with on-trend looks for every occasion when you shop at Kohl's and Kohl's.com, where families come first.
And Kevin, Houston with 9 offensive rebounds here in the first half, but it's only led to 6 second chance points. The uncharacteristic thing they've done with their 6 turnovers, the shot battle of field goals attempted, both teams have taken 26. Even with the massive advantage of getting on the boards, first foul shot goes down for Francis. Because of those turnover issues, Duke has hung right there in that shot attempt.
One more for Francis, 71% on the year, 4 for 7 at the line tonight for Houston. And the second free throw is good. Makes it a 28-19 lead. Duke ball, 2:35 and counting. Foster will walk this one up. Carlos Uzan back on the floor for Houston with 2 fouls. See if he can stay away from his third. Knipple. Bullet pass inside the Flagg. He pirouettes and backs out on the left wing. He's working against Juwan Roberts with 8 to shoot. Flagg will put it on the deck. Drives against Roberts. Gets down to the well. Shot won't go. Rebound batted around in the air. Loose on the floor. Flagg somehow gets it. Reverse layup. Good. He went from left to right. Scooped it over the right side of the iron. And draws the foul for a chance at a 3-point play.
That's an incredible take right there.
2 freshman bigs. One taps it up in the air, the other taps it. It goes back to Cooper, and he goes underneath and does a spin. The freshman.
The funny thing, too, PJ, is that the layup he just missed, the degree of difficulty isn't even close to the one that he just made. Gets jacked in the face, doesn't matter. Unbelievable body control there by Cooper Flagg.
The foul on Francis, his second. Flagg at the line. And he converts on the 3-point play. 31-19 Duke.
It's not the ancient mariner, but the ancient coach is saying this is the time when, if you're Houston, you had better do something positive in these last 2 minutes.
Yeah, time is a factor for your mood right now. 31-19 Duke. Uzan back on the floor after an 0 for 4 start and 2 fouls. Only has played 9 minutes. Uzan on the drive. Gets down low. Malowacz is there. Feeds Scheyer in the corner for 3. What a huge shot for Houston to get back within 9.
And L.J. Scheyer totally made that happen just by relocating to the corner. Defender gets caught ball watching. Tyrese Proctor's a little bit lost. Great find there for the shooter in the corner.
Here's Proctor on the lob to Malowacz. It slips out of his hands through contact, and a foul called against Houston's JoJo Tugler. That will be number 2 on number 11. And Malowacz going to the free throw line where he's a 76% shooter.
He's such a weapon as a lob threat, especially in those pin downs, because you have to be there with Proctor. You have to be there with Knipple. You have to be there with Cooper Flagg. So if you're guarding Common Malowacz, you're feeling that pressure. If that defender gets picked off, you're thinking, I got to step up. But if you do that, you've got 7'2", really athletic rolling to the rim.
L.J. Scheyer is Houston's offense. There's nobody else that even looks somewhat comfortable. L.J. Scheyer, from the first possession, has played with the confidence you would expect from the excellent player he is.
Malowacz missing the first free throw. 1 more to go. Houston 7 of 27 from the floor. Without Scheyer, they're 4 of 21 as Malawac hits the second free throw, making it a 10-point Duke lead, 32-22. The guy bringing it up to the floor, Milos Uzan's got to get it going if Houston's going to have a chance in this one.
And it's not just him, Kevin. The best players outside of Scheyer have to play like it, and they haven't done that so far.
Here's Uzan, steps back for a three, and he rattles it home and claps his hands as he sees one go through for the first time tonight. 32-25, Duke by 7.
Had to have it. Loves that crossover dribble. It just gets him into rhythm. Uzan rising up. Big-time shot for him.
Foster brings it back out to Knipple and now finds the player of the year in Flagg. Flagg, a little jab step trying to drive on Roberts. Flagg looking for space, goes back baseline, driving baseline, drops it off in the paint. Malawac is fouled on the way up by Roberts, who picks up his first.
See, most people, when you do that to Juwan Roberts, you dribble it off your foot or you throw it out of bounds.
Yeah.
But Cooper Flagg, just get your game on, multiple dribble moves between the legs, behind the back, find the baseline, and then just dish it off to the big fella.
So Malawac gets a pair. 2 for 3 tonight at the line. He's a good free throw shooter, 76% on the year. The 7'2" freshman who plays beyond his years.
He's been an Olympian.
Yeah. When you played on that stage,
are pretty wild.
And he played in all 3 games that South Sudan played in that 2024 Olympic Games.
It's impossible to overstate how much he's improved. We saw him playing for NBA Academy in Africa when he was a young guy, couple inches. His skill set, you still kind of said, yeah. Unbelievable. Even from the beginning of this year, the job John Scheyer and the staff has done with Kamani.
Hits both free throws. He'll get a breather. Malik Brown will re-enter the ball game. 34-25 Duke. Houston, if they hurry, could potentially put a 2-for-1 together here. Uzan hurrying is not necessarily Houston's offensive strategy. Francis gives it to Scheyer. Scheyer looking for some space. He'll launch a 3 at the top of the key. He rolls it home. Scheyer with another 3. And Houston, despite all the woes, is within 6.
Mike Brown switching that right there. He did a pretty good job of switching up, but LJ Scheyer off the bounce, so capable. Yeah, he definitely hurts you in catch and shoot, but he can shoot those 3s off the dribble as well.
Duke will hold for the final shot of the first half. Flagg dribbling on the logo at half court. Under 10 seconds to go. Flagg at the top of the key. Leaves it back behind. Proctor for 3. That's short. No good. Rebound in the corner and out of bounds to Houston, but just 0.2 of a second on the clock. So Houston will inbound. They'll go nowhere with it. 0.2 of a second. It'll come into Scheyer, and halftime is here. But Houston with a 9-3 run to end the half when the ancient coach, the ancient Mariner, said something needed to happen. Something did happen, P.J. Carlissimo.
Scheyer finally got some help. A Scheyer 3, but the Uzan 3 was enormous. They're going to feel a heck of a lot better going in now than they did about 1 minute ago.
Yeah, Kelvin Sampson has to be ecstatic with the way they played to only be down 6. Houston right there.
Halftime score, Duke 34, Houston 28. When we return, we'll rejoin Jason Horowitz and Nick Baugh for the halftime report. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is the men's Final Four.
Business owners and fleet managers, keeping your vehicles on the road is key to your success. At Meineke, we offer local and national fleet programs designed to keep your fleet running strong while delivering professional, reliable service that saves you time and money. Whether you manage a few vehicles or a nationwide fleet, we've got you covered. Visit MeinekeFleet.com to learn how we can keep your business moving. Meineke, doing car care right.
Meanwhile at Xfinity. Okay, huddle up. Do you realize how many fans stream basketball? It's madness.
But real fans stream with Xfinity Internet.
Totally. We've engineered a super fast connection.
With reduced buffering and low lag.
'Cause making streaming better is what we do!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Can we let go now? It's really not a huddle with 2 people.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and stream live sports from the best seat in the house. Bring on the good stuff.
Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speeds vary. Not guaranteed. The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Catchy tune, right? But don't let the urge to sing along distract you from the truck drifting towards your lane or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you. And Hyundai has over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006. Because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't... IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
34-28, Duke leading Houston at the half as we welcome you back to the Straight Talk Wireless set in San Antonio. Along with Nick Baugh, I'm Jason Horwitz. If you need more data so you can stream your Jam Mix on loop, switch to Straight Talk. Get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Blue Devils led by as many as 12. That's the total that Con Knippel had to lead the way. But LJ Cryer was massive at the beginning. He was massive to get him back within 6. And that's where we stand right now at halftime, Nick.
Completely echo the sentiments from Coach Carlissimo and Robbie Hummel. I think Houston's got to be thrilled that they're only down 6 at half. There were some moments there where it looked like it was maybe going to get away from them. I thought the 3 threes to end the half were huge. Not only to just close the gap from the scoring standpoint, but get the confidence going, in particular for Uzan, who was in foul trouble, and they need the shot makers to loom large. But it's the beauty of defense is it can sustain you and keep you afloat even when you are a little cold. So all things considered, Houston's got to feel thrilled that they're not out of this thing, but at the same time, I was impressed with Duke's comfort offensively. Only 2 turnovers, so that they good high-quality shots. Knippel knocked down his open looks. It's going to be interesting to see in this second half if the shooters for Houston can continue to stay in that rhythm and flow.
Cooper Flagg and Robbie Hummel was talking about it. Like, the shots he's making are more difficult than the ones he's missing, and you can be in awe. When you see them later on tonight in the highlight, Kevin's doing an unbelievable job explaining them, but when you see them, you're going to see just how difficult. But to that point, Houston is making him work for every centimeter on the floor.
This is a 6'9" guy that is putting it on the deck, shaking Juwan Roberts, shaking JoJo Tugler, and making the right reads. But you said it, he's having to make all-world plays just to get in the paint. But guess what? He's an all-world player. What an impressive first half from Cooper Flagg. I know the stat line doesn't blow you away, and sometimes assists can be a little misleading because you can make a great play and your teammate just misses the shot, so it doesn't end up being an assist. If we had like assist-worthy passes, he would be have like 5 or 6 of them. So we wondered at the start, is Duke ready for the most physical game they played all year? I thought for the most part they
felt
were.
Like it.
It felt like it. 9 offensive rebounds for Houston, led to only 6 second chance points. So at least Duke was able to withstand and have their second shot defense make things difficult on the Cougars, which was good to see.
All right, Duke just 2 first half turnovers, and they lead by 6. But you warned that what happened in game number 1, the team that had 2 first half turnovers and led by 8 lost by 6. How Auburn fell to Florida, and a man who became even more of a legend in the second half coming up on the other side with Florida going to the national title game. 34-28, Duke leading Houston at the break. You're listening to the Men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
6-point Duke lead over the Houston Cougars at the break here in San Antonio. It's time now for a bracket update sponsored by Green Gobbler. Green Gobbler, the only clogged dissolver you need. It's bleach-free, it's safe for your pipes, and it works. Green Gobbler, let the gobbler get it. The Gators got it, though they had to fight for every part of it against Auburn earlier tonight. The two teams were separated by no more than 4 the first 15 minutes of the opening half before Auburn put together a run before halftime.
Cardwell now back to Pettiford. Pettiford dribbling on the Final Four logo to the left side. A 3 from Kelly. Rattles around and home. Miles Kelly, another 3, his second of the first half. He's got 8. And Auburn leads by 9, 43-34.
They weren't great from 3 in the first half, just 4 of 15, but they had some solid defense. They forced some turnovers, and Auburn led Florida 46-38 at the break. A lead that was evaporated pretty much 4 minutes into the second half. Then it was not really any room for either team, but it was Florida's defense that got them the lead.
Pettiford will bring it up from right to left. Jumps the pass to Broom. Loose in the middle of the floor. Taken away by Martin. Roping to the other end for the one-hand jam. Florida by 2, 59-57.
Elijah Martin, the first player to ever start for 2 different teams in Final Four history, was huge. 17 points, 3 boards, and a couple of steals. But it's his running mate who was even better in a massive night.
Out back out it goes to Clayton. They had a golden opportunity. Now Clayton on the drive to the rim. Throws it at the rim. Banks it home. Draws the foul. And a chance for one more at the line. Superman finds his cape again. Florida by 5, 73-68.
He'd hit the free throw. He'd finish with 34 points tonight, and Florida would go on to win by 6, 79-73. The Gators, after turning Auburn over just twice in the first half, Nick Baugh turned them over 12 times in the second half. They held Auburn to 33% from the floor in the second half, and Walter Clayton Jr. with back-to-back 30-point performances in the Elite Eight and the Final Four. The first to do that and win both games since Larry Bird in 1979.
He was incredible. And in large part, the second half, Broom struggled. I thought Florida's bigs did a much better job defending him one-on-one in the post. Broom, 3 points, 1 for 4 from the floor, 1 for 5 from the free throw line. And Walter Clayton Jr. had 20 points in the second half, 34 for the game. But I thought just in totality, if you just watch the first half Florida half-court defense and the second half defense, it looks like 2 totally different teams. They didn't change anything schematically, Jason. They just upped their effort, upped their energy. It led to more turnovers. It led to more contests at the rim. And the Florida bigs, again, you got to tip your cap to them. They really stepped up to the plate to deal with Janiah Broom one-on-one in the post.
No question about it. Todd Golden, after the game, he's going to play for a national championship, the head coach for the first time in his career with Andy Katz.
Todd, you guys were down 8 at the half. How'd you flip this so well?
You know, we talked at halftime. We didn't do a good enough job in the first half of being ourselves. I thought we were bad on the scouting report. I thought Auburn took the fight to us, and they were playing great, and we were on our heels a little bit. Second half, we just talked about getting back to ourselves, trying to throw the first punch, and initiating the contact. We did a much better job of that in the second half.
Walter Clayton, All-American. He played like the player of the year. How do you describe what you saw?
He is. I mean, he is. He obviously didn't win the award, but now I'm so proud of him and happy for him that everybody nationally is able to see what he's been doing for us all year. Best guard in the nation. There's not one player in all of America that you would rather have the ball in his hands with the game on the line.
Elijah had an emphatic dunk, maybe the dunk of the year. What did that do for the bench and everyone to get everyone going?
It was a huge momentum play, 50-50 ball in the middle of the court. He wins the battle and he takes off what felt like from the free throw line, skies, dunks. It was a huge momentum play that really got us going in the second half.
You said Bruce Pearl was the reason you're the head coach. You had to get through him to the final. How do you describe that?
I'm really just so proud
and happy for my team, my staff, my players. It's a little bittersweet, to be honest. I feel for those guys. I know how difficult it would be to not be able to play on Monday night, and I'm incredibly grateful for everything they have done for me. But I'm really happy we won, man. I'm happy we're playing on Monday night.
Congratulations. We'll see you Monday.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, against either Duke or Houston, Blue Devils up by 6. And if you weren't with us earlier, it's well documented. Todd Golden played for Bruce Pearl in the 2009 Maccabi games in Israel. He was his first director of basketball operations and assistant coach for 2 years at Auburn. And Bruce Pearl's team had an unbelievable first 25 minutes, but his team's going home.
Played beautiful basketball in the first half. We were prepared. We had a great game plan. They executed really well. We only turned the ball over twice. Second half, Florida's effort, energy, the fact that we're not as deep as what we normally are was a factor. And I thought fatigue was a factor. As a result, we weren't able to maintain control of the game, which I think if we had taken care of the basketball a little bit, not turned it over and given us some easy ones, we could have been in position to win the basketball game.
And by the way, here at halftime, credit Bruce Pearl, Nick. He was back out on the floor. The NABC, National Association of Basketball Coaches, were honoring the Coach of the Year from Division III, Division II, and he was the winner from D1. And he was back out on the floor at halftime after his team had lost.
Yeah, and they still had an incredible season. Number 1 overall seed, and the SEC was just a monster this year. They were the regular season champ. Certainly a great year for Bruce Pearl and Auburn.
Second ever trip to the Final Four.
The tournament is here. March Madness is here. The craziness is here. Don't forget, hit that like button down below and share this link out so we can get more basketball fans here in the chat, hanging out with us, cheering on your favorite team.
Clayton steals it and lays it in. Clayton a good look. Hit 6.
Check out our new website, www.torontosportsinsider.com, and check out the link that is in the description as well as in the chat that shows where all of the live viewers are watching from. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? I bet you have now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking out our Bracket Mania campaign. A lot more coming up soon. What's up, basketball fans? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Final Four. The Duke Blue Devils against the Houston Cougars, 2 number 1 seeds battling it out. It's going to be crazy. This Final Four is stacked. It is all the 1 seeds. This doesn't happen very often, so it should be a great game tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please hit that like button down below. As well, please share this link out so that we can get more basketball fans here in the chat cheering on your favorite team as they vie for a spot in the national championship game.
Pass to Nipple, left corner 3, got it! Ball movement exemplary. Duke by 11, their largest lead, as Knipple hits the 3. He's got 12.
Great offense by the Blue Devils. Paint touch with the bounce. Swing it to the corner. Extra pass. You get the ball movement going around, and the Duke Blue Devils offense starting to find their rhythm.
12 first half points for Knipple. They led by as many as 12. But Nick Houston, who had 2 made threes in the first 18 minutes and 15 seconds, hit 3 in the final 100 seconds of the first half.
Huge. If Houston goes on to make this thing closer, maybe win it, I think you're going to look at the final 2 minutes of that half as it looming incredibly large in the complexion of this game. For me in this second half, can Houston pay off their effort on the offensive glass? They got 9 offensive rebounds in that first half, which is great. Only 6 second chance points, and in large part, Houston's 4 for 18 from 2. The length of Duke to the tallest team in the country per Ken Palm. You got to find a way to convert when you do get those offensive rebounds.
Hey, fans, you can listen to Westwood One's coverage of the men's and women's basketball title games tomorrow and on Monday, and all the other NCAA championships on Alexa. Just ask your device to open Westwood One Sports, and you'll be able to enjoy all the upcoming action of the men's Frozen Four, the men's lacrosse semifinals and championship Memorial Day weekend, plus both the men's and women's College World Series in May and June. That's open Westwood One Sports to listen on Alexa. 6-point Duke lead at the break. We go back to Kevin Kugler, Robbie Hummel, PJ Carlissimo, and Andy Katz next. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Anywhere else, Tuesday is just, well, Tuesday. But if you're at KFC, Tuesday is $10 Tuesday, which means you can get 8 hot, juicy drums and thighs for just $10. Let me say that again. 8 pieces of hot, juicy, original recipe chicken, hand-breaded in 11 herbs and spices. All for just $10 every Tuesday, only at KFC. Guess Tuesday isn't just Tuesday anymore. It's finger-licking good. Prices and participation may vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
Back in San Antonio, halftime about to end with Duke up 34-28. Kevin Kugler, Robbie Hummel, PJ Carlissimo, courtside as we check the halftime stats, sponsored by Barbasol. Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol shaving cream. For whatever your day brings, choose Barbasol. It's a can of can-do. LJ Scheyer leading the way for Houston with 12 points. 5 for Roberts, 4 for Sharp on 1 for 5 shooting. Uzan, 3 points on 1 for 5 shooting. Houston shoots 31% from the floor and 5 of 11 from 3 in the first half. 5 of 8 at the line. They out-rebound Duke 22-17, but Duke gets 12 from Knippel and 8 from Cooper Flagg. And Duke has outscored Houston 16-6 in the paint. Houston outscored Tennessee 30-14 in the paint in the Elite Eight, but they trail by 10 inside tonight. Time now to connect with our analysts for the second half keys, sponsored by Wago. Trust your game, trust your wiring with Wago electrical connectors. Gear up at wago.com/hoops for your next electrical project.
Well, Duke is going to have to rebound. 9 offensive rebounds. It's what Houston does, but you're playing with fire. The Cougars weren't able to cash in on second chance points in the first half, but that doesn't mean that won't be the case in the second. They've got to do a better job of blocking out, pursuing the basketball. As for the Houston Cougars, LJ Scheyer, fantastic. Kept them afloat, 12 points, 4 of 7 from the field. Everybody else, 5 of 22. Now, we saw some signs of life at the end of that first half. That has got to continue on for Houston.
No question about it, Robbie. And again, Pat Riley has the expression, it's a make-or-miss league, talking about the NBA. Duke started out 6 for 12. They're 6 for their last 17. Credit that to the Houston defense. Houston started out 2 for 8 from the three-point line. They made their last 3. Somebody going to make some shots is going to go a long way. Duke's freshmen score 62% of Duke's points. That's a ridiculous number. They got 76% of the points in the first half. That's more ridiculous.
Duke didn't turn the ball over after the 11:22 mark of the first half. Pretty impressive considering the defense they were dealing with. But they lead by 6 as we check in with Andy Katz.
Well, I had a chance to talk with both head coaches coming back onto the court. First, Kelvin Sampson. He says, look, we can't beat them without our point guard. He's talking about Milestones. He said once he was in there and settling down, they got down and they were only down by 6. He says, we're right there, but we've got to be able to beat Duke with our main players playing well, and that includes Milestones. As for Duke, John Scheyer, the head coach, telling me, look, how they took the lead early in the first half, we guarded well, we defended well, they rebounded, but then at the end of the first half, they let up a couple of threes. And they said he said they gave them life. He says in terms of LJ Scheyer, our feet were back. We've got to do a much better job on him, and they got to do a much better job on the backboard at both ends of the court. And finally, guys, John Scheyer says, look, there is no quit in Houston. It's going to be possession by possession if they're going to get to the national championship game.
All right, Andy, thank you so much. It's time now for the start of the second half, sponsored by Indeed.com. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit. Florida is already there. Who will join them Monday night? Will it be Houston? Will it be Duke? The Blue Devils by 6 as the second half gets underway. James, Proctor, Knipple, Flagg, and Malawach on the floor for the Blue Devils. Sharp, Roberts, Cryer, Tugler, Uzan on the floor for the Houston Cougars. James will inbound at half court for Duke. And we are ready for the second half in San Antonio. In it comes to Proctor. Duke moving from our left to our right, and here we go. James at the top of the key. He'll send it over to Flagg on the right-hand wing. A little jab stepping around the screen. Flagg going to work against Uzan. Trying to back him down. Turns the corner. Gets to the rim. Shot won't go. And count the bucket. They're going to call a goaltend. Looked like there was some contact with the basketball on the Flagg shot. It was tipped in anyway by Malawach, but count the bucket by Flagg.
Well, I love the guard-on-guard screen essentially there. You get the matchup you want. Uzan gets switched off onto Cooper Flagg, and Flagg using that size goes right to the rim.
Emmanuel Sharp is going to walk this one up now for Houston. Set up in the left-hand offensive zone. Juwan Roberts against Malawach. The weave to Sharp. Knipple on his hip. Spins it down to the right block. Looking for Tugler. Tugler going to work inside, and a foul is called on Proctor. Posting up inside. Kelvin Sampson was screaming at Doug Schaus 7 seconds before he called the foul that there should be a foul.
Well, if Tyrese Proctor didn't switch that, it was going to be a dunk for Tugler. It's a cross-screen play. It's a great set out of the half right there, but he saves the basket.
Out it comes to Roberts on the baseline out of bounds. Roberts will hand it off to Cryer, weaving to the right wing, launching a deep three, rolls it home. Cryer got hot late first half, and he brings Houston to within 5.
Well, if he's coming off the screen or a handoff, you've got to switch up to take away the three-point shot. Clearly, L.J. Cryer has got it going. Right now, Duke not doing enough to discourage him from shooting threes.
Knipple will swing it around to James on the left wing. James will put it on the deck, dribbles behind his back, now backs out left wing. James looks up at the shot clock, sees 10 counting down. Malawach will hand behind the Flagg. 6 to shoot, Flagg drags it around his ankles. 4 to shoot, a little up and under move, slips as he drives, picks up his dribble. Shot short, rebound James, won't go, and it's scooped up by Tugler. So here comes Cryer for Houston, down by 5. Cryer will dribble, stops, gives it to Roberts, rolling to the rim, finds Tugler, goes up for the jam, can't get it to go, and the rebound pops up to Knipple. Flagg on the run, extra pass, James all alone, right corner, 3, got it! James with the 3, and Duke's lead is 8, 39-31.
Off the missed dunk right there, you just never get back. Houston not matching up. Sion James, a quiet first half, but a real start for him here in the second. Duke in transition, finding the open shooter.
Here's Uzan going to work, a little crossover, gets past James, high off the window, over the outstretched arms of Flagg, and it drops 39-33 Duke.
Oh, he loves that left to right cross. He goes to that almost every time, but he's so fluid with it. Milos Uzan just rocking you to sleep and getting downhill.
Uzan now with 5. Jump pass down to Malawach. He'll feed James, crashing to the rim for a 2-hand flush. Good ball movement by Duke, and it's 41-33 Blue Devils.
I love the way the young fella Malawach is getting out of those pick and rolls. He is slipping that thing out. Houston showing bodies at the ball handler. Great slip by Malawach. Better pass, though, to find Sion James off the cut.
Here's Cryer matched up against Flagg. One-on-one. Underhands it to Roberts. Back it goes to Cryer. 3, top of the key. Got it again. Cryer is a one-man wrecking crew right now for Houston. He's got 18 of their 36 points, and they're within 5.
Now Cooper Flagg falls asleep right there. You cannot leave L.J. Cryer. Pass goes into the post to Juwan Roberts. He turns his head, loses track. Cryer makes you pay.
Kelvin Sampson out there half court, exhorting his team on, punching his fists in the air and yelling at them to defend. Flagg with 10 to shoot, rises up, deep 2, won't go. Knipple chases it down, throws it back into play. Swing around Proctor, 4-3. Off, no good. Rebound, Roberts. Bodies all over the floor. Malawach and Tugler. Houston's hit 7 of their last 8 shots. They'll bring it up the floor. Uzan with the Cougars within 5. Backs this one up. Uzan crossing over Knipple. Got him on his hip. Drops it baseline, and it's out of bounds. Roberts couldn't handle the pass on the baseline, and a turnover back to Duke.
Tell you what, the threes all of a sudden, they started 2 for 8. If I'm not mistaken, that's 5 straight since then. Unbelievable job by Houston hanging in. We said they needed their threes. They're doing it.
Cryer 5 of 7 all by his lonesome in this game. Flagg on the right-hand wing as Duke will bring it up into the right-hand offensive zone. Flagg picked up by Uzan on the switch. Inside, gets it over Tugler, who commits the personal foul. Flagg scores it, and a chance for one more at the line.
Well, that's the second time here in the second half we've seen Duke go to that same guard-on-guard screen so that you can get the matchup. Uzan's got to guard Cooper Flagg. Flagg is phenomenal at using that spin, taking his time, and they're showing right there, PJ, it's not all just the right at the rim. He can go to the left as well.
You know what's really impressive? Both teams creating and recognizing mismatches and then going at him. Cooper Flagg, that's a move you see all the time when you have a guy for 4 years and he's a senior and you've been coaching for 3 years, and then it comes to fruition. You say, well, it took a while, but we got him doing it. Well, he's doing it right away.
As a freshman. Free throw is good, and it's 44-36 Duke by 8. Uzan will bring it up the floor now for Houston. Houston just trying to hang on right now. 4 minutes into this second half. Down 2 more than they were at halftime. Roberts will back down against Malawach. Spins, baseline shot won't go. Loose ball pops all the way out to Uzan.
How about Francis flying in there and keeping that thing alive for the Cougars?
It's Roberts now working against James. Swipes, drives, Malawach waiting, dumps it down low. The double came, and he finds Francis for the 2-hand flush.
Well, Malawach came over to double, but Tyrese Proctor fell asleep. Didn't crack down there. That's as easy of a basket as Houston will get all night long.
44-38. Blue Devils by 6 on the drive. James pivots in the paint, strong off the back iron. James chased it down, got his own rebound. Well, you don't do that often against Houston. Proctor off the shot pick, gets to the left elbow, backs it out. Flagg, right wing three, got it. Cooper Flagg with 3 more. He's got 16, and it's 47-38 Duke.
Under control paint touch by Tyrese Proctor. Cooper Flagg doing a great job of relocating and getting away. Houston stopping the ball. Cooper Flagg drilling it from that right wing.
14:48 to go. Duke in control right now, 47-38. Uzan at the top of the key, 11 to shoot. Gives it to Roberts, working against Malawach, spinning on the big man. Off the window with the left hand. It's good on that left block. And Houston within 7, 47-40.
It's not easy to go at Malawach, but that's Juwan Roberts getting exactly what he wants. He's taking your right so he can spin back to his left hand and press it, take, and finish.
Knipple, 3 right wing is good. Doesn't take long for these freshmen to go to work, and it's a 10-point Duke lead, 50-40. 31 of the 50 points have been from those 2 freshmen, Knipple and Flagg. Uzan feeding it up top now to Francis. Goes right back to Uzan. Flagg running out on Uzan to deny the 3. 7 to shoot. Uzan to work again. Picked up by Malawach now on the switch. Crossing over the big man. Running baseline. Floater is good with 1 to shoot.
Get the matchup, and Malawach can switch those. We saw it in the Elite 8, but that's a heck of a crossover. So once again, Uzan loves that cross. He shakes off Malawach and finishes at the basket.
Here's Knipple on the lob to Malawach. It was short. He caught it. Works it around to James for 3 right wing. Off the heel, no good. Rebound batted around, and it'll be Cryer who picks up the personal, going through James, trying to get the rebound. And there's a timeout on the court. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. You can save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com. 13:30 to play and a 50-42 lead for Duke. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is the men's basketball tournament.
Lowe's knows that your business is built on speed and trust. That's why the Lowe's Pro Desk is here to get you what you need the moment you need it. We'll help you plan your project, calculate your materials, and pivot when your job takes an unexpected turn. And with our pro-only checkout and dedicated pro parking,
thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. Please let us know in the chat where you're watching from.
From Toronto to Tokyo, Sudbury to Singapore, TSI is everywhere. Remember, a portion of every game's revenue goes directly to SickKids Hospital. Let us know where you are watching from and check out the live viewer map at TorontoSportsInsider.com. Let us know where you're watching from. Let's keep growing this global movement.
Have the right stats and data to make the right pick. Don't make the same mistake with hiring for your small business. Find top-tier talent in the right place with LinkedIn. LinkedIn has professionals you can't find anywhere else, including those who aren't actively looking for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/SXM. That's linkedin.com/SXM. Terms and conditions apply.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You make Hefe moves. You don't just raise the bar, you set it. You're the first one in and the last one out. You're the glue that keeps it all together. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Kevin Kugler, Robbie Hummel, PJ Carlissimo here in our Grainger courtside seats in San Antonio. Grainger's like an expert extension of your team, offering industrial-grade products, fast shipping, and free technical support. Click Grainger.com to get what your business needs. 50-42 Duke by 8. Houston's hit their last 3 shots. Cougars are 6 of 8 from the floor in the second half, and they've lost 2 off of the halftime deficit. It's 16-14 Duke in the second half.
Well, PJ said this to us in the break, but the level of shot making that we have seen on both sides of the ball, it's been Houston, it's been Duke, it has been next level stuff.
I mean, it's big time playing. And the other thing that is impressing me, both teams, how about the big passing? You got these bigs finding the other big. I mean, Kev, go back with me. Hummel, Jawan Johnson,
Very
Purdue,
good. Yeah,
years
really
ago.
Good. Maybe
big
equivalent.
Jawan would argue that there wasn't much big-to-big passing going from 4 to 5. But maybe from 5 to 4, he would say.
Inbound comes into the corner to Knipple. He'll work against Uzan from that right corner, trying to get into the paint. Double team comes, passes out of it to James for an easy 2.
It's exactly what PJ just talked about. But that interior passing, the close quarters looks are not easy to make, but Knipple just diming him up right there. What a play.
52-42 Duke. So much pressure on Houston. You've got to score almost every trip down the floor right now. That's not what Houston's game usually is. Cryer on the left-hand wing. Looking inside for Roberts. Can't get it to him, and the foul is called on Malik Brown. Reaching over the shoulder of Roberts to bat that extended post-entry pass away.
They are heavily feeding Jawan Roberts. There is no doubt about it that right now Kelvin Sampson is trying to take advantage of whatever matchup he's got, and they're trying to get Jawan Roberts going.
Just 7 points tonight on 3 for 8 shooting. Inbound comes to Cryer, hops to the top of the key, the handoff there to Wilson. Malik Wilson will push a chest pass over to Cryer. Cryer against Flagg. Re-enters, spins at the free throw line. Flagg smothers it. It's Wilson now. Left baseline, backs it out, and he throws it to Cooper Flagg on the run. Flagg driving to the other end of the floor, throws it up through contact. The shot short, but he earns 2 free throws as he felt that contact from Malik Wilson, and he draws the personal foul.
How about the fact that he's guarding L.J. Cryer and just does such a good job of staying in front of the ball, staying down on the shot fake, then gets a steal, takes it 94 feet. I mean, this is truly a generational talent that we are watching play in front of us.
That foul on Milos Uzan rather than Wilson. 3rd on Uzan. Flagg at the line. Free throw is good. The NCAA Fan Experience official hospitality is now available for the 2026 Final Four in Indianapolis. Official NCAA hospitality includes live entertainment, upscale food stations and beverages, appearances by NCAA legends, and much more. To be a VIP at the 2026 Final Four in Indianapolis, visit ncaa.com/VIP. Both free throws good. 12-point lead for Duke, 54-42. Milos Uzan and Houston going to work. They need some sort of rhythm here. They've got to find some offense again. Cryer at the top of the key. Directing traffic for Uzan. He'll go to work against his opposite number, Con Knipple. 2 number 7s. Which one will be lucky? Uzan around the screen from Roberts with 4 to shoot, 3 to shoot. Drives left baseline, fading away. Wild shot won't go, and it's picked up by Proctor on the run for Duke. Proctor will stop left wing, leave behind for Flagg. Cooper Flagg with 18 tonight. Sizing up Javier Francis going to work, crossing him over, gets by him, down the baseline, shot won't go, but a foul. What a crossover by a man who stands at 6'9", just turned 18, plays like he's 28, and is going to the line after the timeout. 11:54 to go in this one. 54-42 Duke. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doop doop.
Hey, insiders. First and foremost, Mike and Allison want to thank you for being part of this amazing community. With March Madness in full swing, we need your help. The TSI Bracket Mania campaign is raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto through the Final Four. A portion of the proceeds from every single game goes directly to SickKids. Click the pinned link in the chat or the description to donate. Every bit helps. Can't donate? No problem. Just share the campaign with your friends or on social media to make a huge impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Clink the link, and holy Mackinac, let's help heal the future.
54-42 Duke by 12. 11:54 to go in the second half. Once again, let's rejoin our courtside reporter, Andy Katz.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I'm here with a very special guest, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. 3 Final Fours, 1983, MVP of the Final Four with the Houston Cougars. Hakeem, let's first discuss what was it like to be a part of an iconic team, Phi Slamma Jamma?
Well, it was a great experience, especially coming from Nigeria. Witnessing Final Four for the first time in the Superdome. It's amazing. When I walk in here, that reminded me when I was my first Final Four in New Orleans.
Your team will be remembered forever for that moniker, that Phi Slamma Jamma. But what was it about your group that was so electric and so entertaining?
I mean, the style of basketball, open court, freelancing, blocking shots and dunking on the other side. The excitement that we bring to the game was special.
Kelvin Sampson has brought Houston basketball back. Fans are into it, sellouts, second Final Four since he's been there. What have you observed in terms of the way in which Kelvin has brought this program to this level?
I mean, he built a culture of toughness where he knows the players that he recruits and he takes them to the next level. Intensity, energy, and confidence.
Appreciate it, Hakeem.
Thank you so much.
Hall of Famer, Hakeem Olajuwon. Back to you, Kevin.
Legend Hakeem Olajuwon with the legend Andy Katz. 54-42. A 12-point advantage, 11:54 to go second half. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for the national championships.
Hi, everybody. Christopher Russo, Mad Dog Sports Radio, live all day during the NCAA tournament. That's until 2 a.m. Eastern. React to all the action at AAA Mad Dog 6 on Channel 82.
First free throw good for Cooper Flagg. 19 for the best player in college basketball this year, Cooper Flagg. Second free throw good. He's got 20 with 11:54 to play, and his team with its largest lead, the largest lead of either semifinal tonight, 14 points.
This is kind of what PJ talked about in the first half. This is the real time where Houston's got to find something on this end.
Sharp tries a tough contested 10-foot fadeaway over Knipple. Offensive rebound, Tugler. Sharp will launch a deep three, and he hits it. 3 feet behind the arc on the right wing, and Sharp finds 3.
Well, how Houston is that for their 11th offensive rebound of the game? Looks like Duke has closed it down, but just the extra effort there by Tugler to dig that thing out and spray it for a 3. That's one Houston had to have.
Knipple now, one dribble to his left, finds Flagg. The chest pass to Proctor on the left wing. He'll drive against Pryor, turns into the paint, dumps it down low, and ends up with Brown through a carom. Back up to Proctor, fakes the 3, drives right side of the lane, shot won't go, Flagg's follow won't go. Uzan ends up with a loose ball. Pryor touch pass ahead to Sharp, and Houston going to work. Here's Pryor trailing the play at the top of the key. He'll back things out now. 10:50 to go, 56-45 Duke. Pryor matched up against Malik Brown. He'll curl around the left side to the baseline. Jumper is short. Rebound ends up in the hands of Sharp. His shot won't go. Can't believe he didn't get a call there. Looked like there was contact. He can't believe it either. Flagg will run down the floor. Meanwhile, to the other end, bank it off the window and home.
Now, I thought that definitely could have been called a foul right there, but Emmanuel Sharp just needs to go and score the ball. He's trying to draw contact. He had a layup, almost tried to jump into the defender, and what a missed opportunity for Houston on that play.
58-45. Duke back by 13. Sharp looking for some help, finds it from Pryor. Pryor driving, gets to the right elbow, pivot from there. Out it goes to Uzan. 7 to shoot, 10 to play. Crossover, Uzan into the paint. Floater dies, back iron to Knipple, the two-handed rebound.
What a luxury for Duke to have two guys in a Cooper Flagg and a Malik Brown that can switch 4 and 5 ways, get in the stance, and defend guards on the perimeter.
To Knipple, dribbling with 12 to shoot. Middle of the floor, he stands, working around the screen, dumps it down to the screener, and it's picked out of the hands of Malik Brown, takeaway by Sharp. Ahead to Uzan, back to Sharp, launching 3, left wing, won't go, rebound underneath, tipped into the hands of Sion James. Duke navigating to the right-hand offensive zone, 9:20 to go. Sion James crossing over Uzan, gets to the rim, his shot blocked underneath by Roberts, kick into the corner, Knipple's 3 is short, rebound by Sharp, still down on the floor is Sion James. Uzan grimacing as he comes up the floor. James is down after the collision underneath the basket going for the rebound. And Sion James will be looked at by the Duke medical crew.
Sion James is looking a little bit woozy here. Duke coming in transition. It's quite the block from Juwan Roberts. He puts it to the board. James hits his head so hard on the floor there. Well, yeah, I hope he's okay. It's a clean block, but James going down and clearly the back of his head slamming into the wood.
Duke fans chanting Sion James, Sion James.
Previous action is under review.
Well, they're going to look at this for a flagrant 1, but there's nothing.
No, it's a total basketball play. It's unfortunate to see what happens to James, but there's nothing that Juwan Roberts could have done differently.
I mean, the floor is the biggest fault here.
And it's amazing that James is up after a blow like that to the head. And that's a guy that looks like a Greek god out there on the basketball floor. But this is going to be a quick review.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the Duke trainer, Jose Fonseca, walked him over to the heart.
Contact, lay off the side, going back to 10.
Doug Shows with a brief update to let us know.
He owns that.
Yeah. There are few better in this game than Doug Shows in describing a replay review.
Thorough, to the point, quick.
If PJ were ranking officials, that would be number 1 on the Doug Shows list.
I don't ever put a 1 next to an official. Kidding me? I like Doug Shows a lot. I could give him a 1.
1B, maybe.
Okay, a 1B.
You can listen to the live stream of every remaining moment of both the men's and women's tournaments on the Westwood One Sports app at westwood1sports.com. Sponsored by Masa Chips, classic tortilla chips fried in 100% grass-fed beef tallow. No seed oils, no fake ingredients, just real crunch. Code MM30. Get you 30% off your first order at masachips.com.
You always make a major mistake. You start kicking any dirt on Houston because they're never out of it. But I'll tell you what, it just feels like they are hanging on right now.
Absolutely.
Every bucket is so much work for the Cougars offensively. Sion James is sitting on the bench right now. Athletic trainers are leave it in B for the moment as Houston works in a left-hand offensive zone down 13.
A lot of standing around right now for Houston. We're down to 9 on the clock and nothing has happened.
There's Scheyer trying to find some room with 5 to shoot, 4 to shoot, pushes it into the right corner. The 3 for Arsenault rolls off the right side of the rim. Not much happening on that possession. Knipple the rebound.
A nice job by Mason Gillis of being in to take away the roll and then to get out to contest the Terrence Arsenault jumper.
8:33 to go in this one. Duke hoping to hang on to meet Florida on Monday night. Mason Gillis will feed Knipple. Back it goes to Gillis. He looked at a 3, turns it down, goes over to Proctor on the left wing. Proctor driving down the left side of the lane, flips the ball in the air, and a foul called. As Proctor is fouled, driving, he'll get 2 shots. They'll call it a shooting foul. Looked like he passed that one off, but it's going as a shooting foul, and Proctor to the line.
He was trying to scoop it, but Kelvin Sampson told James Breeding, all right, if you're going to call that right here, then I better get that same whistle on the other end.
I'll tell you, on the other end, there are a lot of... Houston never be accused of being in a hurry, but there are a lot of very long possessions, and most of the possession is occurring outside the three-point line. That's not good offense for Kelvin Sampson's team.
I would say, PJ, Houston's not exactly a team that runs a ton of set plays. It's like Iverson cut for LJ, he gets his game on. You know, over the top pin down. It's not complex. It's just you've got to be able to guard those guys. Easier said than done.
Yeah, then shoot the ball, and 3 guys climb all over the board
it's the best
and
offense.
score.
Exactly.
Proctor 1 of 2 at the line, and Sion James returns to an ovation from the Duke fans.
Amazing to see him back out there because he hit his head on the floor really hard.
Jawan Roberts handing it off to Scheyer. Scheyer leaning in for a 3. Top of the key, he hits. That 3 hit at the top of the key, and now JoJo Tugler is down on the floor. And Tugler being helped up. He's down at the free throw line, saying he got hit on the right side of his head. Battling for the rebound with Mason Gillis.
Mason Gillis, that off left arm. He's trying to block out, but he clips JoJo Tugler across the cheek right there. And the refs, we saw it in game 1, they're going to have a decision to make here at the monitor.
Timeout on the floor, 59-48, Duke by 11. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved. It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Dream.
59-48, Duke by 11. Let's check some of the numbers sponsored by GoodRx. Check GoodRx for simple, smart savings on weight loss medications and other prescriptions at GoodRx.com. 21 for LJ Scheyer, the only Cougar in double figures 22 for Flagg, 15 for Knipple for the Blue Devils, who've outscored Houston 24-12 in the paint and 12-11 on second chance points. And they've been reviewing the play a moment ago, and the word from the monitor is...
After review, the contact by White, number 18, has been deemed to be a dead ball contact technical foul. Any player for the black team will be allowed to shoot 2 free throws, and the black team will be awarded the ball on the baseline with 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, that's a huge turn of events. Scheyer hit the 3 a moment ago. Scheyer now will shoot the free throws, and Houston's going to get the basketball. As we expected, Robbie and PJ, this became a flagrant 1 foul.
And I'm just blown away that this is an 11-point game with the opportunity to be cut to 9 here at the line and then the basketball. A massive turn of events right here. L.J. Scheyer knocks down the first free throw. Major opportunity for Houston on this possession.
First free throw attempt and make of the second half for the Cougars. Duke 6 of 7 in the second half. And he misses the second free throw. That's 2 misses tonight at the line for L.J. Scheyer, who's at 92% on the year and had missed 8 the entirety of the season.
For as good as he shot the ball, I mean, 7 of 11 from the field, 6 of 8 from 3. And that is shocking to see him miss that foul shot.
Inbound on the right baseline, into Sharp on the right wing. Knipple right there on his hip. Feeds it back to Scheyer. Scheyer dribbling middle of the floor. Starts to go towards the Houston bench. Now back to the left side with Knipple. 8 to shoot. Scheyer crossing over. Gets past Knipple. Runner on the way. Floats it home. Houston with an 8. 59-51. Still plenty of time with 7:38 to go.
Any youngsters at home who want to learn how to be a guard, watch Clayton and Scheyer tonight.
6-point possession for Houston. Here's Flagg driving all the way to the rim. Can't get that layup to roll home. Roberts with the rebound, just a little strong for Flagg. Scheyer bobbing and weaving, lost the handle on the basketball, goes out of bounds. Kelvin Sampson took a swipe at it with his right foot to try to boot it. He missed it, and it'll be Duke ball.
I give Knipple a lot of credit here. Now, did that hit his shoe? Because it looked like it did. He was trying to go between his legs, underneath from right to left there, and I can see why the referee would be tricked, but it definitely was off the defender, Knipple's shoe.
Boy, Houston misses an opportunity there and didn't get help on the floor. Now James will bring it up for Duke. It's Knipple. Standing on the right wing, trying to shed Sharp. Swing around to Proctor, 3, left wing, rolls off, no, and that'll be a foul on Malawach. Working against the smaller Tugler, trying to go through him, and Malawach picks up the personal foul.
Terrence Arsenault is playing a dangerous game. On that pin down there, you're going under or removed on Tyrese Proctor. The way that he has shot the ball, coming into tonight, 16 of his last 25 from 3. Houston a bit fortunate there, but a good block out by Joseph Tugler on the backside.
Emmanuel Sharp to walk this one up for the Cougars. Roberts with a left-hand dribble. The hand to Scheyer. Scheyer back near the logo at half court. Jumps the pass left side to Tugler. Swing back to Scheyer. Scheyer against Flagg. Top of the key. Launching a 3. Off the front iron. Bounces twice. Can't get it to fall.
A man's rebound by Sion James to go in there with all the big bodies and rip that thing out of the air.
Duke has not hit a field goal in over 4 minutes, and a timeout taken by Duke to try to remedy that situation. 6:26 to go. Even with that long drought, they still lead by 8, 59-51. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, condition, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-967-9180. That's 800-967-9180. 800-967-9180.
Your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. With Indeed Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for relevant candidates so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, with Indeed Sponsored Jobs, there are no monthly subscriptions, and you only pay for results. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you.
I'm talking to you, one of the thousands of people that's hanging out with us here in the chat for the Final Four. We're running our SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign where we're raising money for a local hospital in Toronto, which is doing amazing, amazing work and just celebrated a huge anniversary. 150 years for SickKids Hospital.
Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us. So why not make it official? Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a live game. We're on a mission to hit 100,000 insiders, and you can help us grow this amazing community of sports fans making a difference. Join the conversation, keep it classy, and we'll see you in the chat. Good luck to your team and your bracket.
We really appreciate you being here. Thanks for turning on that bell. We'll see you back in the chat.
Very, very much. I mean, as happy as he is, doesn't like the pace of this game right now, and he knows they're a turnover or another Houston three from this game being incredibly tight for the last 5 minutes.
How about the fact that Duke has 0 fast break points? That's a crazy number.
Flagg spins, jumper won't go, rebound Scheyer. Now Houston 9 of 18 from 3, 9 of 30 from 2. In one of the stranger stats, but it underlines what this Houston team did in the offseason. They got better from deep. Scheyer working it around to the right side. Tugler dumps it down to Roberts. Roberts going left to right, and he lays it in. There's a 2 for Houston, and they're back within 6, 59-53.
I love the way that Joseph Tugler, he'll fake that dribble handoff to get downhill. The help has to come over. You drop it down, and Juwan Roberts understood that with Malawatch looming, he had to get that thing to the rim incredibly quickly.
There's Flagg. He'll send it over to Knipple. Knipple on the right corner in the baseline. Gives it around the swing to James. James driving from the left corner. Lost it off his foot, and a turnover. Turnover for Duke, a rare one, just their 5th of the ballgame.
That Houston defense, Kevin, is always swarming. Joseph Tugler, though, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. High-level defensive help defense right there. You're meeting the ball handler outside that lane. You're coming over with that 7'5" wingspan. Tugler makes that happen off the ball.
Uzan will walk this one up. From right to left, Houston within 6, an 8-0 run. Scheyer pushed back near the half-court line by Malawatch. Double comes, gets rid of it to Roberts. Roberts fakes the pass, drives inside, can't make a shot, tip won't go, rebound by Tugler and a foul. Malawatch working against Tugler, who is exhausted. Tugler has had to work for every single touch he's had tonight, and Malawatch commits the personal foul. It's on the floor, and I believe Houston will still inbound. Yes, they will. Just 5 team fouls against Duke.
LJ Scheyer comes off a middle ball screen, and Malawatch just isn't going anywhere. And Cryer's like holding it and holding it and holding it, and eventually you got to give it up. You get it to Juwan Roberts. Roberts' tough night around the rim continues on, but Houston keeps possession.
And Uzan will inbound left baseline, lobs it into Sharp. Sharp working against Knipple, driving him down the right side of the lane, gets to the rim. No, but the tip is there by Tugler. Tugler with a tip. 4-point game. 10-0 Houston run. 59-55 Duke under 5 to play.
Joseph Tugler's stat line might not scream it. He has not scored, except he's gotten on the offensive glass. Hasn't scored until that moment. What a time for him to come alive.
Proctor, Flagg fakes the three. Flagg going to work, driving on Roberts, gets some space, fades away, off the window. No, and a foul is called going against Malik Brown of Duke. And again, it's Tugler involved in the play, forcing the whistle. And it'll belong to Houston after the 6th Duke foul.
When you don't make third team all Big 12 by only averaging 5 and 6, you have to have a major impact on the game. He blocks almost 2 shots a game. He lives on the offensive glass. The effort there to get down to the offensive boards, make things happen. He's had a big impact on defense. Joseph Tugler coming to play here in the second half.
Here comes Uzan, 4-point game, 10-0 run. Uzan against Flagg, sizing him up, dribbling, gets past him to the left elbow, backs it out to Scheyer with 12 to shoot. Scheyer going to work, down by 4, 59-55. Scheyer, little jab step, goes back to the left, 5 of the shot clock, rises up to the foul line. Shot won't go. Flagg there for a big Duke rebound. He'll drop it off to James. He'll walk it up. We're about to go under 4 to play. National semifinal. Florida awaits the winner. Duke 59, Houston 55. Flagg looking over at his head coach, John Scheyer. Gets the call, 12 to shoot. Flagg going to work, gets a screen from Proctor. Double team comes, feeds it back to Proctor, fakes the pass, drives down the middle of the lane, and he lost the ball on the way up when he was fouled. Proctor on his way to the free throw line, and a timeout on the floor. What a finish we have in store here in San Antonio. Houston drawing ever closer. Duke's gone cold. They haven't scored in 4.5 minutes, but a chance to do so at the line when we return. You're listening to the Men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic
What's up, basketball fans? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Final Four. The Duke Blue Devils against the Houston Cougars. 2 number 1 seeds battling it out. It's going to be crazy. This Final Four is stacked. It is all the 1 seeds. This doesn't happen very often. So it should be a great game tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please hit that like button down below. As well, please share this link out so that we can get more basketball fans here in the chat cheering on your favorite team as they vie for a spot in the national championship game.
Marriott Bonvoy, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Explore more at marriottbonvoy.com/NCAA.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Let's check the attendance sponsored by Uber Eats. Uber Eats is delivering game day deals from hundreds of your local favorites all week. Order now on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details. There are 68,252 in attendance here in San Antonio, and they've seen Houston close dramatically late in this game. Robbie Hummel, PJ Carlissimo, 4-point game now. Duke has gone ice cold, which Houston can do to teams, but a 10-0 run for Houston, and Duke hasn't scored since that 6-point possession that kind of turned this game.
Well, give Houston a lot of credit because the toughness, the physicality, all the things that they're known for has shown through here as they have made their way back into this game. A 10-0 run where their defense has held Duke to 1 for their last 8. They have clamped down. They've been on the offensive glass. LJ Scheyer continues to be fantastic, but some of those other guys starting to come alongside him.
There are a lot of tired players on both teams. You've got a lot of tired players, and it's almost like nothing's happening in the lane right now. They're getting fouled and getting to the line. You wonder, both teams making some threes. You wonder if a couple of three-point shots are not going to go a long way toward deciding this game.
Absolutely. And you know what, Kevin, before you take over here, it was really well done by John Scheyer. The execution, he was orchestrating that last play before we went to break. just to, you've seen it in the first half. They want that guard-on-guard screen to get L.J. Cryer onto Cooper Flagg. They get it. Houston wants to run at him. You end up at the foul line because John Scheyer pushes the right buttons.
And I've got to imagine with all the youth on this team, he's got to do that in key situations with this group.
When in the second half, he's right there, so he can kind of play as like a pseudo point guard. They're right in front of him.
6 straight misses for Duke. The field goal drought is now 6 minutes and 47 seconds. In fact, Cooper Flagg's the only Blue Devil with a field goal in the last 9:40. Proctor at the line, snaps it with the first free throw. That snaps the 4.5-minute scoring drought, and it gives Duke a 60-55 lead. And Tyrese Proctor, who's just an okay free throw shooter at 69%, will go back for one more, and he hits both of them very smoothly. 61-55. Now the Duke fans rise as one over the right shoulder of Uzan as he brings it up the floor from right to left. Uzan gets a screen. Looked at a three, turns it down. He's got Brown in front of him. The handoff now to Roberts, who swats the hand of James away. Not once but twice, trying to back him down. Turns, left hand hook, pinballs out, no good. Rebound, knocked out of bounds. Looked like it was out off Cooper Flagg, but they will say it is Duke basketball.
Now, Sion James is essentially Duke's point guard a lot of the time. He initiates a lot of their offense, but at 220, he was able to match the physicality there of Juwan Roberts. That's a heck of a defensive play and a stop that was badly needed for Duke.
Still not a field goal in over 7 minutes for Duke. Can they find one here and get a little breathing room? James will work it up top to Proctor. Proctor trying to drive, nothing there, dumps it down low, into the corner, Flagg for three. Oh, salute the Flagg, the freshman, with a giant three in the right corner, and Duke reestablishes control up 64-55.
Duke's bigs have done a phenomenal job when there's two on the ball and pick and roll. They are slipping out, and after that slip, Tyrese Proctor on the delivery, and then you got it across the floor to Flagg for the three.
Cryer weaving middle of the floor. Does Houston have an answer? He wanted a three, just a little stumble, and then Flagg recovered. Here's Uzan against Knipple, rising up with 2 to shoot, won't go. Offensive rebound, Tugler. Up top to Sharp, fakes the three, now shoots the three. Strong, long rebound, Cryer, another opportunity. Work it back around to Tugler. Tugler on the drive against Knipple, spins, and Flagg throws it out of bounds. He went up with the shot, and here comes Flagg flying high again.
And inside, you need threes right now. Cooper Flagg, 17 second-half points. That three was enormous.
And a third block of the game for Cooper Flagg.
Unbelievable help defense. I mean, Cooper Flagg has put on a show across the board. He has scored. He's made plays for others. He's guarded guards. He's come across the help defender there. What a player.
Uzan looking. Hearing. Needs to inbound. Lobs it into the backcourt to Emmanuel Sharp. 64-55. 2:12 to go. Sharp now will bring it up, 5 to shoot. Sharp goes past Flagg to the rim for 2, lays it in, and it's 64-57. Blue Devils by 7. Flagg will bring it across. That's right, Cooper Flagg will bring it across. Brings it up the floor. He's doing it all in this second half. He's got 25, 7 rebounds. James on the right-hand wing, giving it off to Proctor. Proctor, a little bobble, lost it off his leg, and a turnover by Duke and out of bounds. Their 6th turnover of the night. With 1:39 to go, give it back to Houston.
He tried to just peel Tyrese Proctor off a pin down. And definitely active hands that hits off his knee. A little bit of life here for Houston.
Cougars have to take advantage. Every possession so important. Got to score almost every time down the floor. And Wilson, Brown runs out and just runs right into.
It's a 1-on-1 here.
It's a 1-on-1 situation. I am not sure. Emmanuel Sharp was going around a screen and just running into him was Malik Brown.
Malik Brown kind of lost his mind there. You just have to be solid. You don't have to give the world's greatest heads there. You just have to be in a place where you're defending it solidly and getting back to your man.
John Scheyer was arguing the call. Not a lot to argue on that one. Sharp at the line, 88% on the year. Front end of the 1-and-1 is good. 2 for 3 now tonight for Sharp at the line. And a 6-point Duke lead with 1:27 to go. Malawach will return, the 7'2" freshman. re-enters the ball game for the 6'9" transfer from Syracuse. So 3 freshmen, the grad transfer from Tulane, and the junior for Duke on the floor. Sharp with one more at the line, hits them both. 64-59. Houston will take the timeout. 1:27 remaining. These Houston Cougars, at one point or another, looked like they were almost done. They were down 14 near the 8-minute mark, but they've been able to cut it back to 5 once more. You can listen to Westwood One's exclusive coverage of NCAA championships for free on the Varsity Network app. In addition to both the men's and women's championships, next week you can hear all 3 games of the men's Frozen Four, and in the coming months, the men's lacrosse semifinals and championship, plus the men's and women's college World Series. Download the Varsity Network app now and search NCAA championships. PJ, 5-point game here. Both of these coaches working on strategy. What do you expect to see coming off the timeout?
Well, I expect to see the ball in Cooper Flagg's hand at some point, taking it to the rim. But I'm telling you, it has gotten so tough putting it on the floor, trying to finish inside, a penetrating kick, and I could see another 3 coming from Duke, but I'm not so sure, other than Kahn or Cooper Flagg, who's going to do that.
It will be interesting, PJ, to see if John just goes right back to the well. If you can, whoever LJ Cryer is guarding, you get the flag, you set a ball screen, you get the switch. Houston hasn't been great at rotating out of that.
64-59. Houston will extend a little pressure.
This might be more than a little pressure here, Kev, too.
Sion James looking to get some help, needs to inbound, and he calls timeout. So Sion James will take the timeout. The Blue Devils now out. No, 1 timeout left, excuse me. 1 timeout remaining for Duke. Houston has 2 remaining. And with 1 minute, 27 seconds to go, another opportunity to inbound and more pressure, I'm sure, Coach, applied by Houston.
Yeah, and again, he's turning it up. They're like a lot of teams that kind of pressure the whole game, just put pressure on you, just take some time off the clock, and then all of a sudden late in the game they ratchet it up. That's what they're doing right now. But he's telling his team, guys, we don't have to foul. We just play straight up. We get the ball. We got a chance to make this a 1-possession game. So I'm sure Kelvin Sampson is encouraging his guys. John Scheyer is telling his guys, it is time for us to execute on the offensive end.
And I will say, as an inbounder, it can be a lonely feeling, A, when nobody's getting open, and B, when you've got a guy like JoJo Tugler on the basketball. You're like, somebody, please get open for me.
Inbound again with pressure coming, and a foul is called.
Didn't need to do that.
Sharp commits the foul. Cooper Flagg is going to go to the line for a 1-on-1 opportunity.
He's a little gingerly getting up here. He's kind of grabbing at that ankle, and you look at the way he's moving, Kevin. He's certainly feeling it.
Well, that's not what you want to hear if you're a Duke fan. He hit the deck hard working against Sharp. The foul goes on Sharp, just his second, and Cooper Flagg, who, like almost everything else he does, is really good at the free throw line. 83%.
He's only 83%.
Yeah, only 83. What happened on the other 17% of those shots, Cooper Flagg? Come on now.
What a line he's put together. 25 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals. That's a complete game right there.
And that's sort of been the story with his line all year long as he bends the knees. The front end of the 1-on-1 is good. He was the first Division I player in the history of the game to have 675 points, 250 rebounds, 150 assists, 50 steals, and 40 blocks in one season. Think of everybody who's played this game.
It's unbelievable.
Flagg with 1 more at the line. And both free throws good. Cooper Flagg, so calm. 27 tonight for the freshman. And the Wooden Award winner, the National Player of the Year. Sharp will bring it up with 1:20 to go. Sharp working against Malawatch, gets past the big man, drives inside, contact came, and a whistle, and a foul is called. That late switch brought extra contact in, and 2 shots are coming with the clock stopped, 1:14 to go, and Emmanuel Sharp heads to the free throw line. Malawatch called for the foul.
Emmanuel Sharp, a little crossover dribble, and you got Flagg going up there. You got Malawatch coming over, and I think he just doesn't need to swing down. You know, if Emmanuel Sharp is going to make it over the top of Flagg and one of the best shot blockers in the ACC, you live with that.
Free throw rolls around and home for Sharp. 6-point game, 1:14 to play in this one. Florida waiting. They've got the winner Monday night for the national title. And back-to-back made free throws for Sharp. Bring it to a 5-point game again, 66-61. James.
Oh, he stripped it out of his hand.
That's
going to be a tech.
Yep. Before he brought it in on the inbound, he stripped it out of James's hands, and that's a technical foul.
Boy, Kelvin Sampson just dropped to one knee. He can't believe that that's what happened, but Joseph Tugler essentially reached in and knocked the ball out of Sion James' hands as he was inbounding.
And Tugler just punches the side of his head. Kelvin Sampson.
I would love to know what's being said to him right now. It's just, man, it's hard to believe that could happen. But pressure, stress, fatigue, guys do strange things when those factors are at play.
And he knew it right away, too. You could see the look on his face as he hit the ball, an immediate grimace, as if to say, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Swiped at that basketball, knocked out of his hands, the technical foul called. They confirm it over on the monitor. And with 1:14 to go, it's going to be a tech on Tugler, his 4th foul.
You hate this for Houston because they've hung in the entirety of the game. And they haven't had their fastball, but they've found a way to stay in this thing. And you just don't want to see it end on a play like this.
After review, it's been ruled that black number 11 touched the ball while it was out of bounds in the thrower end. That is a Class B technical foul. Any player on the white team can shoot the ball. One shot, white team ball out of bounds with the privileges to run the baseline.
Normally Doug Shows does that job, but James Breeding, excellent work breaking that one down over on the sideline.
The sharing on this crew. You don't see that very often.
Been impressive.
Usually it's a one-man band.
Been a well-officiated game tonight. Knipple, free throw good.
James Breeding made an important point also. You retain the ability to run the end line because inbounding the ball against Houston
that matters.
is difficult.
So now a 6-point lead as he hits the free throw. Knipple good on that free throw attempt. He's got 16. Duke will inbound once more. Sion James will inbound. This time it'll be Roberts. They're not even going to get his way. They'll inbound to Knipple. Knipple trapped, gives rid of it to James. Sion James will bring it up the floor from left to right. 67-61. James across the timeline. 1 minute to go in the national semifinal. James with the shot clock at 12. Brings it over to the right wing, picked up by Uzan on the switch. Feeds it over to Knipple, middle of the floor. 5 to shoot. Knipple on the drive. Gets inside. Tugler with a block. Ball poked free. Ends up with Sharp. Houston with a basketball. Down by 6. Sharp probing. Stops. Top of the key. Kept his dribble alive as he slipped down. Gets rid of it to Uzan. Uzan back to Sharp. Waits for traffic to clear. Launches and hits a 3. Timeout Houston. Emmanuel Sharp with a 3 on the right wing, and the Cougars are within 3 with 32.4 to play in San Antonio.
You don't see the Duke defense make mistakes like this very often. A screen between Sion James and Cooper Flagg. It's as simple as communicating out the switch, but they break down right there. Emmanuel Sharp with a big 3, and that Houston miscue with Tugler seemed like the end of the world. It only gives up 1 point, and now you get 3 right back here on that play.
How does Houston win 34 games? Because when they're up against it, they know they came up with the defensive stop. They know they needed 3. They executed. We saw similar, really. Auburn did some really good things with their back up against the wall. And no excuse, any of these teams that got here, they handle endgame situations.
Houston's lost 1 time this year in regulation. 1 time. That was a 5-point loss in game 2 against the Auburn Tigers. The other 3 losses by 5 in overtime to Alabama, by 3 in overtime to San Diego State, and by 6 in by 1 in overtime against Texas Tech. This is a team, as Robbie said earlier, that does not get blown out. and they're not getting blown out in a game in which it looked like they might about 8 game minutes ago.
Well, and they clearly have not had their offensive fastball tonight. You know, we've seen L.J. Cryer put up 24, but Uzan only with 7. Certainly Emmanuel Sharp has not been as good as we have seen in past games, has 16, but he's 4 of 13 from the field. But the toughness, the physicality, the defense, those are non-negotiables with Kelvin Sampson. It's given them a chance, and it's going to have to continue to be a factor here. 32 seconds to go. You're down 3. You're going to have to turn the pressure up once again right here.
Each team with a timeout. They cannot afford to play this entire possession out. Obviously, it is only a 2.4 difference, but they can afford to try and steal the inbounds pass and at least one good trap before they do go to the foul game.
James will inbound for Duke. On the baseline, looking, moving. It's poked away from Flagg. Out of bounds.
And now a spot throw-in. I'm telling you, Kevin, I have been this guy in games like this. The loneliest feeling ever right now is what Sion James is feeling, because you're just hoping that somebody gets open.
Each team has one timeout. Possession arrow is favoring Houston. Officials conferring. And now they're going to review this. They're going to go look at this to see if it was tipped out and then caromed off. They're going to check possession, then check clock as well. Clock's got to be close to right.
If Houston requested this, a timeout is at stake, and they only have one left.
Right. So if Houston requested it, let's see.
The previous play is under review for out of bounds and timing.
Okay, so they're looking for both. Kelvin Sampson had 5 fingers in the air. He wanted a 5-second count.
So we're seeing right now, Emmanuel Sharp, it does look like he just bats that with his right hand. Cooper Flagg is in the vicinity. The angle we're seeing now is going to be better. That's definitely off Emmanuel Sharp.
Yeah, his right hand got in front of the left hand of Cooper Flagg. The ball arrived at about the same time, but it looked like it was Sharp's fingers that pushed it forward and out of bounds.
And we still have the 2.4 second difference on the clock.
Now the question's going to be, as they check timing on this, the question is going to be, will Houston lose their timeout? They should, because if they were indeed
requesting,
Now, unless the officials huddled up and decided to check the monitor, which is their ability to do under 2 minutes and a half, or at the end of game. Kelvin Sampson
does not like the speed of the review.
After review, the call on the floor of white basketball stands. The clock will be adjusted to 31.8 seconds, the time in which the ball hit out of bounds.
Okay, so it must not have been a requested review by Houston.
That's big, too. That's a really important detail there.
So that retains the Houston timeout. Duke has the timeout. And he fouls a 1-and-1, by the way.
Sion James has got to understand this is a spot throw. And how many times have we seen guys go away from the baseline and totally forget?
Keith Kimball just told him the official, what good officials will do in this situation. But the difficulty for John Scheyer right now is it's obviously the end line away from his bench, so you can't communicate with your team. That's a challenge.
Totally. It looks like right now that Duke is lining up to actually score on the other end. They're just trying to get this thing in.
Remember, possession arrow Houston. Any tie-up, and it's Houston ball. He's got to lob it in, and it's deflected away, and Sharp with a steal. Out it comes to Wilson, humming for a 3 on the right wing. No good. Tip jam by Tugler. 1-point game. 67-66. Duke by 1. 25.5 to go. James will inbound, running baseline into Knippel. Knippel trapped in the corner, throws it to midcourt Proctor. Proctor across the timeline, he's fouled by Wilson. How about Malik Wilson hunting the 3, missing it, and then JoJo Tugler out of nowhere with that tip jam to bring it to within 1.
I don't think it was worth the trade-off, but interestingly enough, the technical foul, they go down, they go back there, and then they get a deflection, and all of a sudden it becomes a spot violation, and it is so much
more difficult to inbound the ball.
Well, and credit Houston because so many teams would fold, but these guys are never going anywhere. They have given themselves a chance and done so under some extremely tough circumstances.
Proctor, the front end of the 1-and-1, 69% shooter, misses it, and a foul is called on Cooper Flagg. Trying to reach around Jawan Roberts. He commits the foul, and Roberts, a 63% shooter, will march to the other end for a 1-and-1 to potentially give Houston the lead.
Jawan Roberts is just blocking out. It's your typical free throw block out, and you've got Cooper Flagg reaching right over the top. It's pretty much a textbook over the back. This has been an incredible turn of events here over the last couple minutes.
So Roberts, who's 1 for 2 tonight, they'll sub in Wilson. Jawan Roberts, the winningest player in Houston basketball history, will line up for the biggest free throws of his life. But to get the second, he needs the first. Big exhale. Wipes his left hand on his pant leg. 2 dribbles. Bends the knees. Roberts free throw. Ties this game at 67.
He's trying to quiet down the crowd. I will say, PJ, that's a very unconventional free throw, but in the biggest pressure moment of his life, he gets it to go.
And now the next biggest free throw of his life to give Houston the lead. Everyone on pins and needles. Bends the knees. Free throw is up. It is good. Houston leads for the first time since it was 6-5. Inbound coming to James. James will pick it up at half court. Timeout Duke. 17.2 to go. Houston 68. Duke 67. An improbable comeback for the Houston Cougars to lead by 1.
They just never go away. It's honestly unbelievable. A 7-0 run over the last 16 seconds. You're dead in the water. The game is pretty much over, except for the Houston Cougars and Kelvin Sampson. It really never is. Toughness, everything about this program on display right now.
Couple of sub 70% free throw shooters called on to step up. Really interesting to me, after the second one goes down, Houston does not stay with the press that's been so good to them right now. They say, it's all right, we'll trust our half-court defense. Duke has the ball, obviously a great opportunity to regain the lead, but with all the trouble that Duke has experienced inbounding the ball, you would have thought maybe Houston stays with the full-court pressure.
Yeah. Well, you have to assume here that this is going to Cooper Flagg. You just had a mistake. You commit a foul 94 feet away from the other team's basket. They make 2 free throws, but this is now your time. And they're going to put the ball in his hands. You can get it there in a variety of ways, whether it's him setting a pick and roll and short rolling, it's him posting. The problem is if you set him a ball screen, if you post him, the double is coming. So you're going to have to be creative here for Jon Scheyer in how you want to get him the basketball. Is it that guard-on-guard screen? You've got a lot of options, but Jon Scheyer, one of the biggest coaching decisions of his career right here.
They love to inbound the ball to Con Knippel in this situation and let him initiate the play and get it eventually or pretty quickly to Cooper Flagg.
Houston 1 timeout. Remember, Duke is out of timeouts. Possession arrow also favoring Houston. In a tie-up, it's Cougars ball. If Houston fouls, not a shooting foul, it would be a 1-and-1. Inbounding is Sion James. James in the right-hand offensive zone. In it comes to Knippel as coach projected. Over to the left side and Flagg. 13 seconds. Flagg to work against Roberts. Trying to back him down. Curls into the paint. Fadeaway jumper. Short. Rebound underneath. Malik Wilson of Houston gives it off. Now to Scheyer. Scheyer is fouled. 3 seconds to play. Scheyer is fouled. He'll march to the other end for 2 free throws. Flagg misses the jumper. Houston with an opportunity here to go to a 3-point lead. They're going to look at the clock. Right now it says 2.5. I think it's going to have about a half second added to it after the Flagg miss in the paint caroms off the front iron, and Malik Wilson snares the rebound.
Well, he used the spin. He got to a turnaround jumper. He got a pretty good look, but precious time ran off that clock. Duke was trying to foul. They couldn't get it. And this clock runs down to, like you said, 2.5 here, Kevin. This has been an incredible turn of events. Houston hasn't even played well on the offensive end of the floor, but they've hung in there. They gave themselves a chance. They put game pressure on Duke, and Duke is wilted here down the stretch.
Yeah, critical delay in committing the foul. Sion James was right there. I think he tried to commit the foul.
Yeah, Knippel's trying to foul, but not on Sharp, who has the ball. Emmanuel Sharp has the ball in the corner there, PJ, and they just couldn't get to him.
And how about the fact that the last point Duke scored in this game was the technical free throw? That's the last point the Blue Devils have scored.
How important has the rebounding been down on this end of the floor?
Massive. And if you're Duke right here, you've got to think, if these two foul shots go down and it becomes a three-point game, you've got to maybe think about throwing it the length of the court so that Houston, they're going to foul.
After review, the game clock will be set to 3.7 seconds, time at which the foul was recognized.
That's a big boost right there.
1.2 on the clock. Again, possession arrow in favor of Houston, no timeouts for Duke.
Sometimes it's almost a break to make the second one if you're the offensive team, because a loose ball bouncing around, you can't control it. If you're standing out of bounds with the clock stopped, you got a chance to get something done.
Pryor hits the first, 69-67. 2-point lead for Houston. The Cougars have led for very little of this game. Under 4 minutes. Pryor's second free throw is good. 3-point game, 70-69. Houston by 3. 3.7 to go. Everybody runs down the floor. James, long pass down the floor. Pryor tips it. Loose. Knippel has it. Throws to Proctor. Heaves up a three. No good. Houston from behind. 14 down to the national championship game. And for the first time since 1984, Houston will play for a men's basketball national championship. It's Houston and Florida in San Antonio on Monday night. What a comeback. What a stunner. And the Houston Cougars are headed to the championship game, 1 win away from Kelvin Sampson's first title as a coach, 1 win away from the school's first title in men's basketball history.
I'm stunned because so many things went wrong for Houston that could have been knockout blows, but because of who they are, because of who's their coach, because of the way they play, they never went away totally. They hung in there and they gave themselves a chance. Their defense went from great to elite at the end of the game. And the fact that Duke doesn't record a field goal over the last 3 minutes, 1 for their last 9, what an insane college basketball game.
It's too simplistic to say.
Go ahead, Coach.
It was just experience, Kevin, excuse me, but you wonder after 38 games, maybe having the young guys out there versus a much more veteran team.
Absolutely.
When it was time to close the deal, that experience factor jumped up and bit them late.
Tremendous point right there, PJ.
Duke was scoreless the last 1:14 of the ball game. An 11-1 run in that span, or 9-0 run. The only point, the free throw, coming after the technical foul. And the Houston Cougars stand together as one at half court, celebrating an improbable win. They led for a grand total of 3 minutes and 43 seconds tonight. But they led at the most important time, the end of the ball game. And what a finish. Houston wins it 70-67. And when Cooper Flagg hit that three on the right side late in this game, I did not think I would be uttering the sentence, Houston wins this ball game.
How about Joseph Tugler? Even with the technical foul, he only scores 4 points. He gets 5 offensive rebounds. He blocks 4 shots. He makes multiple effort plays at the end. He makes it a nightmare to get the basketball in bounds. Duke didn't handle that full court pressure well at the end. But what a game changer. And that stat line, it doesn't jump off the page at you. Certainly the offensive rebounds and the blocks numbers do, but that's 100% why he is third team All Big Ten as a guy that will score 4 points in a game.
Duke took its largest lead, 59-45 with 8:17 to go. Houston outscored the Blue Devils 25-8 the rest of the way, and they get the 70-67 win. And has to be one of the more improbable wins of Kelvin Sampson's long, illustrious career as a head coach.
He always says they persevere.
Yeah.
They continue to play the same way. They don't get too high, too low. They just keep working, and hope things are going to, I shouldn't say hope, believe things are going to work out if they do that. But when you limit a team to one shots, when you take good care of the ball, and they took much better care of the ball in the second half, it makes a huge difference.
Andy Katz is standing by with I'm sure, a very happy Juwan Roberts.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I'm here with Juwan Roberts. Juwan, you guys were down 14. This is the 5th biggest NCAA comeback in the Final Four. You somehow won this game. How did you guys do it?
Believing. You know, we know this team was a good team, and I started getting flashbacks to when we was at Kansas. We was down just like this, and we didn't give up, and we found a way to win. So, you know, Coach is going to keep coaching, and Coach always believes in us to make the right play. And I think the biggest thing is believing in each other and believing that we can win the game. And you know, these guys are incredible, and now we got one more to go.
There's no more Houston player on this roster than you, and you were at the free throw line to give your team the lead. You hit one. You were telling everyone, settle down. Then you hit the second. How were you able to stay in the moment at that moment?
Just trusting my work. You know, I shoot 150 free throws every day before I finish practice. And I have a manager with me or either a coach that shoots with me every day until I make 150. So being in this moment, you know, I feel like I was ready for it. I was built for it. And I try not to get sidetracked by everything. So just trusting in my work and believing.
You got one more to go on Monday.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
See you there.
Back to you, Kevin.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. And we are joined by the head coach of the Houston Cougars, Kelvin Sampson. That's win number 789 in your long, illustrious career, Coach. I've got to think. I hear you. We hear you.
99.
99. So 799. That's right. 799. Pardon me. 799.
That's all right. That's
in your
all right.
illustrious career.
That's
the
right.
numbers, the numbers are blurry for me right now.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is, of the previous 799 now, that's got to rank right near the top as far as improbable, exciting wins for you and your coaching career.
Not the most improbable. The most improbable was at Kansas this year. That was the most improbable. I still have no idea how we won that game. So, you know, glory goes to God, number one. But number two, and we say this a lot, you don't ever lose at anything, especially live, unless you quit. Don't quit. Keep hanging in there. Because if you keep working and keep believing, when the time comes, you'll be ready to pounce and do something good. And that's what our kids did. We got down 14. Next thing you know, we cut it to 10. We got down 10. Next thing you know, we cut it to 7. And my whole deal was putting some game pressure on these guys. You know, they've beaten everybody by 30, by 20 all year. And sometimes you say, well, that's who they are. Well, maybe it is. But they're also human beings. And when that thing gets down to the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, you can tell. That's why we just have to be who we are. You know, our toughness and our resilience and the way our kids practice every day, the intensity. You know, I get made fun of a lot for doing a loose ball drill or the bubble drill or whatever. We're in the national championship game, so we must be doing something right.
Coach, I know how much Juwan Roberts means to you and to this program and everything that he's done to lay a foundation for what's to come. But to see him step up to the line in the most pressure-packed moment of his life and to see him come through, how proud are you of that young man?
You know, he did that 2 or 3 times this year. So after we lost to Duke last year, you know, everybody said that we lost because we lost Jamal Shead. That's not why we lost. We lost because combined, Juwan Roberts and Javier Francis I think, went 4 for 12 from the free throw line, or 4 for 11. We missed 7 free throws in that game, and it was a one-possession game at the end. So we adopted something new starting in June. Starting June 1st, 7 days a week, our kids had to make 150 free throws. When he started, he was like 68, 69. I looked at his free throw percentage the day I left to get on the bus to come over here on Wednesday. He's up to 86%. He believed. That's what hard work will do. He shot 100 free throws even days we didn't practice. The managers went in there with him. So you give J1 the credit for making those free throws. So he missed them last year, but he made them this year. And of the 2, I'd rather make this year.
Well done, brother. Everybody talks about there's some great guards in college basketball.
The best tournament in all of sports gets closer to crowning a national champion. Welcome to College Basketball Overtime on Sirius XM College Sports Radio.
Welcome in. It's good to have you with us. Nicole Auerbach, Darinoka. Nicole is in Tampa, where she has witnessed a couple of blowouts, to be quite honest, in the national semifinals. I was trying to think of the nicest way to state what Texas suffered against South Carolina and what UConn did to UCLA, but I think those are probably fair assessments, right? First of all, let me ask you, you've been there. You talked to these teams before these games and spent plenty of time around them. Is this anything like what you expected? South Carolina 74-57 over Texas, and Connecticut 85-51, a blowout of historic proportions, and we'll dive into some of those notes of history against UCLA.
I'm gonna say yes. I am not surprised at the teams that won. These were I made predictions. My score predictions were not right, but the winners were. Vegas also was very high on UConn. They had them as the favorite heading into the Final Four, despite the fact that they were the only non-number 1 seed. So they knew something. But I don't think anyone thought that we were going to see the margin that we did with the UConn-UCLA game. I mean, these are the UCLA Bruins. Yes, this is the first time that they were in the Final Four, but they were the number 1 overall seed. They only had 2 losses coming into this game to the same team. Right? So everybody else had problems figuring out Lauren Betts, the best center in America, Kiki Rice and Gabriela Jaquez and everyone else that can beat you for UCLA. And this UConn team just completely shut them down right from the beginning, right from the jump. I mean, this game was over by halftime. Defensively, they were incredible. And then offensively, I mean, AZ Fudd, when she goes off, she has been up and down as a scorer this year.
Mm-hmm.
When she is up, I don't know how you can beat them. Like, this UConn team is on a tear right now. They're on a run. Paige Becker's had those 3 games of 25 plus points. Now you have AZ. You have, the freshman of the year in Sarah Strong. I don't even know how to explain what it looks like when it's working for UConn offensively. It is
Roberts. They had their moments, but that's not possible if LJ Cryer doesn't do what he did tonight. Played the full 40, went the whole time, 26 points, 8 of 14 from the field, knocked down 6 threes, had 5 rebounds. What a performance to keep Houston afloat, to let their defense have a chance. You heard Kelvin Sampson talk about the game pressure. There's no game pressure if there's no LJ Cryer. He was tremendous.
He was fantastic. And I'll tell you what, I give him a little baby assist. I'm looking at the box score with 3 minutes and 44 seconds to go. LJ Cryer was the only player in double figures. Guess what? Roberts and Emmanuel Sharp showed up in the last 3:44.
There's no doubt about that. I will say, when you lose a tournament game like this, and for the guys that have played in this tournament, you probably have experienced it if you've been here enough times. Duke has to be in that locker room right now like, what the heck just happened? Because we had done everything we needed to do, and it's like the game just ends and you lose and you're going home, and it is like the most shell-shocking feeling. So I feel for those guys, but all the credit goes to Houston. What a win for that program and for that team.
Final score, Houston 70, Duke 67. When we return, we'll have more of the All-State post-game report. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
After battling through the brackets, one team gets the chance to climb the iconic Warner ladder. The final net cutting is the culmination of all the hard work and effort it took to reach this moment. And getting here puts these players and coaches in rare air. It's the same for all the trade professionals working from 20 feet to 20 stories. Every day they challenge themselves to conquer new heights. And Warner is the brand they trust to have their backs. Warner, the #1 pro ladder and official ladder of NCAA March Madness.
The NCAA Men's Final Four. Every whoop, high five, shout, and holler gets your team one step closer to the promised land. Any questions?
Professor, are we ready?
You prepare to open a can of fandom and cheer like you've never done it before?
The tournament is here. March Madness is here. The craziness is here. Don't forget, hit that like button down below and share this link out so we can get more basketball fans here in the chat, hanging out with us, cheering on your favorite team.
Clayton steals it and lays it in. Clayton a good look. Hit 6.
Check out our new website, www.torontosportsinsider.com, and check out the link that is in the description as well as in the chat that shows where all of the live viewers are watching from. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? I bet you have now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking out our Bracket Mania campaign. A lot more coming up soon.
What a great scene this is.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us.
Is taxes. Duke gets 27 from Cooper Flagg. He had 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Before tonight, the only player to have that line in an NCAA tournament game was Auburn's Chris Morris in 1988, and that was in the round of 64. Cooper Flagg had a remarkable game, but not enough. Knippel with 16, the only 2 in double figures. They had 43 of the 67 points for Duke. Blue Devils shot 41% in the first half, 38% in the second, and 40% for the game tonight. Houston in the second half, 44% from the floor, 5 of 11 in each half from 3, 10 of 22 for the night. Scheyer with 26, Sharp with 16, including some big threes late, and Jawan Roberts with a double-double, 11 points and 12 rebounds as Houston led for under 4 total minutes, but it was enough to get the win tonight, 70-67 over the Duke Blue Devils. Just a remarkable day Two tremendous basketball games. Florida winning 79-73 over Auburn. And, of course, Houston beating Duke 70-67. So now we've got Florida and we've got Houston playing for a national championship on Monday night.
And I'm just still in disbelief over the way that the Duke-Houston game ended right there. For them to be able to hang in against the talent that Duke has. But I do think that PJ's point about, certainly there's a lot of young guys on the floor. And you have so much experience and things that guys have gone through. And I'm a big believer that in college basketball you need to go through some things. Unless you are so superiorly talented, you've got to have some experiences. And I think Kelvin Sampson talking about what they went through last year, how they've changed their free throw routines to get Juwan Roberts to make those 2 foul shots. You've been able to base yourself off, we've been here before, this is how we accomplish this, and that's why they're moving on to Monday night.
Yeah, and please don't misinterpret. I'm not bashing the Atlantic Coast Conference, but you have, when Kelvin talked about that and not having as many close games.
Great point.
You play in the Big 12, you play the schedule that they played, or you play the schedule that Florida and Auburn played in the SEC. You have to believe that helps your team a little bit. It toughens them a little bit more. There was nothing not tough about Duke. They had a magnificent, magnificent year. The young guys played unbelievably well. But that wasn't an accident that Houston continued to excel the way they did and play the way they did down the stretch.
Time now for the Smart Coaching Move of the Day, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. All right, PJ, what's your O'Reilly Auto Parts Smart Coaching Move of the Day?
Well, it seems like a long time ago that our first game began with Janai Broome getting the ball and bouncing it about 7 times. And I looked at Robbie right away. I said, they're not going to double him. Well, the reason they didn't double him is they were worried about the threes, and even though it didn't appear to be working at halftime, Todd Golden never strayed from that defensive philosophy, and that defensive philosophy keyed to a large extent by the way Condon and Houck and the bigs from Florida performed in the second half against Janai Broome. It paid dividends, and for Todd Golden, first time in the Final Four, was 3rd year as a head coach. I thought that was a great move to stay the course with their game plan, and it paid dividends.
It was an impressive performance tonight. Let's look ahead a little bit. Houston and Florida on Monday night. We'll get well in depth with that, but let's do a little bit of a preview, gentlemen. What do you think, Robbie, from that matchup, at least at first glance?
Well, rebounding will be like the Royal Rumble because both these teams are incredible on the offensive glass. That they both go. It's both a part of their fabric of their program. I think that the guard matchup is what certainly jumps off the page. Who guards Walter Clayton, and what scheme can Kelvin Sampson come up with to slow him down? I think the other side is the same. How do you slow down L.J. Scheyer? You still have the stars, maybe not the same as what Cooper Flagg is, because he is a ridiculous player, and we're very fortunate we got to see him for one season. But L.J. Scheyer, big-time player. Walter Clayton has rode the ultimate heater here in the NCAA tournament. How those two coaches scheme to take them away, but the glass is certainly, PJ, what jumps out immediately at me.
Without any question, you're talking not too good, too exceptional rebounding team, so that's going to be fantastic to watch. Again, Florida can wear you down because Florida can throw 3 bodies at you, and that's what they're going to throw. And not that Houston is hurting, but they don't have 4 bigs as tall and as physical as Florida does. The other thing it's interesting to hear Kelvin say about, we knew we couldn't score with them. We just, we thought 70 would be the good number. Well, the good news is they're playing in a championship game. The bad news, Florida averages more points than Duke does. 85.4, the number 2 fast-breaking team in the country. They got their work cut out for them again on the defensive end.
Control the tempo.
Exactly.
What a fun night this was. 2 terrific games, and to tell you all about it in greater detail, let's rejoin Jason Horowitz in the Westwood One broadcast booth.
All right, Kev, where we are above you watching some of what I would say are still about 1,500 Houston fans slowly, and I mean slowly, trickle out of this stadium where they cannot believe, like Robbie just said, that just happened, and that Houston is on its way to the national championship for the first time in 41 years. We'll relive an epic comeback plus an epic performance points from the Gators. All coming up. Florida and Houston in the championship will relive the second game next. You're listening to the men's Final Four on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game.
What's up, basketball fans? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Final Four. The Duke Blue Devils against the Houston Cougars, 2 number 1 seeds battling it out. It's going to be crazy. This Final Four is stacked. It is all the 1 seeds. This doesn't happen very often, so it should be a great game tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please hit that like button down below. As well, please share this link out so that we can get more basketball fans here in the chat cheering on your favorite team as they vie for a spot in the national championship game.
Guy Rizzi, and visit SkyRizzi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Lowe's knows how to freshen up your yard, and it all starts with mulch. That's why we're introducing Mulch Week during Springfest with can't-miss savings. Right now, get 5 bags of Stay Green Premium Color 2 cubic foot mulch for only $10. Plus, members earn 5 times the points on select mulch purchases all week long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/9. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel. Let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Jason Horowitz, my partner Nick Baugh, happy to welcome you back to the Straight Talk Wireless set here in San Antonio. Need more data so you can stream your jam mix on loop? Switch to Straight Talk. Get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. I am still very much enjoying the man in the red spacesuit with the full-on Apollo 13 helmet in front of us. One of the few people still left in this building, Nick, and it is a shocking night because I think Robbie Hummel said it right. If Duke is in that locker room looking to themselves, just sitting by themselves, the players are going to be like, how did we lose this game?
I'm still continually saying it to myself here. I cannot believe what I witnessed over the course of the final 10 minutes and really the last 8 minutes. But you could just kind of feel the 6-point possession with 7:58 left. It goes from 59-45 to 59-51, and it just felt like the pendulum of pressure swung to Duke. And keep in mind, as Coach Carlissimo pointed out, not a lot of close games for the Blue Devils.
And someone just listening is like, how do you have a 6-point possession? A made 3, a flagrant foul on the
Gillis,
rebound on Mason Gillis, a made free throw, and then you get the ball because it's a flagrant and another bucket. That's how you get your 6-point possession.
Pryor made the floater. And so all of a sudden it goes from 59-45, Duke is in complete control, to 59-51, and Duke is on their heels. And you have to credit Houston for their toughness showing through and scrapping and clawing their way to keeping game pressure on Duke for the final 10 minutes of that game. Duke made 1 field goal in the final 10 minutes. 1 shot. So, listen, sometimes it takes 2 to tango. It takes one team to kind of melt down, but it also takes another team to make plays both offensively and defensively, and that's what you saw here tonight. Certainly, there was some melting from Duke, but certainly there was some toughness and great plays from Houston.
I guarantee this man in the spacesuit on Monday night's going to have a shirt that says, Houston, we don't have a problem, as we relive this ball game. And Houston offensively was really struggling the first 17, 18 minutes of this game. But Con Knippel got things going for Duke. He had 12 first-half points, and he allowed the star of the Blue Devils and the National Player of the Year to make some incredible plays, too.
He's working against Juwan Roberts with 8 to shoot. Flagg will put it on the deck. Drives against Roberts. Gets down to the well. Shot won't go. Rebound batted around in the air. Loose on the floor. Flagg somehow gets it. Reverse layup. Good. He went from left to right. Scooped it over the right side of the iron and draws the foul for a chance at a 3-point play.
He'd convert, he'd hit. They'd have their largest lead at 12. Houston, though, would hit some triples in the final 100 seconds of the first half. The Cougars would cut it to 6 early, but they came out of the locker room, and again, they were playing good offense. Houston was scoring the first 5 minutes of the second, but Houston wasn't getting any stops, and Duke was pushing the lead. They'd push it to 14 with 8 minutes to go, and as Nick just described, the 6-point possession. But even with that, Duke was getting to the free throw line. They would keep it. Houston at that 6-7 points, but then all of a sudden rebounds and stops, and Houston felt like they were right back.
Usain will inbound left baseline, lobs it into Sharp. Sharp working against Knipple, driving him down the right side of the lane, gets to the rim. No, but the tip is there by Tugler. Tugler with the tip. 4-point game. 10-0 Houston run. 59-55 Duke under 5 to play.
Well, he made that great play, but he also had a bonehead play around that same time. JoJo Tugler later in the game would have a technical foul, not on anything intentional, but as Duke was trying to inbound the basketball, JoJo Tugler get his hand in there. You can't knock it out of bounds. So 1 point there, but also Duke, finally, as Nick just mentioned, they get that one field goal.
Top to front. Drive, nothing there, dumps it down low.
It was a great game tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please hit them.
With a giant 3 in the right corner, and Duke reestablishes control up 64-55.
Now that really felt like that was going to be the knockout punch. A 9-point lead. Houston missed a couple of shots. It was another minute before they scored, but again, they had timeouts left. They had big-time plays left. They were getting steals in the backcourt, and they had more.
Sharp, probing, stops, top of the key, kept his dribble alive as he slipped down, gets rid of it to Usain. Usain back to Sharp, waits for traffic to clear, launches, and hits a 3! Timeout Houston! Emmanuel Sharp with a 3 on the right wing, and the Cougars are within 3 with 32.4 to play in San Antonio.
12 of his 16 coming in the second half. They would get a steal. They'd get a tip dunk. That was Joseph Tugler with the dunk to cut it to 1. They would get another steal. And Jawan Roberts was fouled by Cooper Flagg. The Blue Devils were shooting a 1-and-1. The Blue Devils missed the front end. Cooper Flagg committed a foul, and Jawan Roberts went to the free throw line. Not a good free throw shooter, but a long-time Cougar. He hit the first to tie, still at the line.
Wipes his left hand on his pant leg. 2 dribbles. Bends the knees. Roberts' free throw ties this game at 67.
He's trying to quiet down the crowd. I will say, PJ, that's a very unconventional free throw, but in the biggest pressure moment of his life, he gets it to go.
And now the next biggest free throw of his life to give Houston the lead. Everyone on pins and needles, bends the knees. Free throw is up. It is good. Houston leads for the first time since it was 6-5.
68-67. Duke into the front court. Duke timeout. Duke still plenty of time. Duke with the player of the year, but Duke have the shot of the game.
Over to the left side and Flagg. 13 seconds. Flagg to work against Roberts. Trying to back him down. Curls into the paint. Fadeaway jumper. Short. Rebound underneath. Malik Wilson of Houston gives it off. Now to Scheyer. Scheyer is fouled. 3 seconds to play. Scheyer is fouled. He'll march to the other end for 2 free throws.
So Flagg missed that shot, and Houston would go to the other end with a chance to ice it and get to a title game. But the Wrangler highlight of the game.
Scheyer's second free throw is good. 3-point game, 70-69. Houston by 3. 3.7 to go. Everybody runs down the floor. James, long pass down the floor. Scheyer tips it. Loose. Knipple has it. Throws to Proctor. Heaves up a 3. No good. Houston from behind, 14 down to the national championship game. And for the first time since 1984, Houston will play for a men's basketball national championship. It's Houston and Florida in San Antonio on Monday night.
The highlight of the game, sponsored by Wrangler. Here's to the early risers, the go-getters. Shop Wrangler.com. New denim styles. Kickstart your day. Wrangler for the ride of life. All of those things in there, and so many key moments throughout. I mean, if you come back from 14, there are a lot of things that could happen, Nick Baugh. But the reality of this is LJ Cryer is going to get a lot of credit and deserves it. But at the end of this ballgame, with the exception of the free throws, it was all the guys around him that got Houston this victory.
Yeah, it was like Cryer kept them alive with his shot making, but then down the stretch, whether it was Tugler or Roberts or Sharp, finally some other Cougars showed up to the party, and they were able to make some clutch plays down the stretch. It's just a couple of things. The other thing I want to point out too, Jason, we said it at the time, it was 31-19 with 2 minutes left in the first half, and Cryer hits 2 threes, and Uzan hits a 3. They close it on a 9-3 run. Little things like that just allow you to hang around, and eventually you catch a break and you put game pressure on it, and then you see what unfolds. But I totally agree with what Robbie Hummel was talking about. Experience matters in college basketball, and I thought what you saw tonight, I thought it was so telling that whether it was JoJo Tugler or even Kelvin Sampson referencing it in the post-game interviews, hearkening back to the big comeback they had at Allen Fieldhouse this year. They trailed by 6 points with 20 seconds left, had an amazing 6-point flurry to force overtime and eventually win. You can reflect on those experiences and draw from them. Duke, when it got close, there really wasn't anything they could reflect on.
No, they won all their games by an average of more than 20 points per game. They got here with a 20-point win over Alabama. I mean, Houston got here with a 19-point win over Tennessee, but the game before that, Uzan gets the bucket with less than a second left to beat Purdue. So they are going to the championship game, and Duke and John Scheyer were really this close. But it was really a larger thing. They should feel that they had it. Not that they missed it by a shot, but this was their game. Afterwards, Andy Katz got up with the Duke head coach.
John, you were just talking to Tracy Wolfson of CBS about how it unraveled. What did you see from your vantage point as the lead was dwindling?
Well, the lead goes quickly when you give them free throws. And, I haven't seen, obviously, those plays, but the clock stops, they score. And then, obviously, just the momentum of a game. I thought we had some good looks. I don't regret the shots we got or whatever. They didn't fall, and then, obviously, for them, they were just in the attack mode. With all that said, we're winning at the end of the game. We just have to finish it off. And that's what's disappointing.
In those last couple of offensive possessions, what did you want to have happen? You had Tyrese at the line, you had Cooper trying to score. What were you hoping for?
Well, then we had to make free throws and just protect the ball, and we had one turnover, and we came up with 0 points those 2 possessions, and we gave them 2. So I didn't help them enough with that. And the last play, for the rest of my life, I'll have no regrets. Number 2 has the ball in his hands, 6 feet from the basket. I believe in that guy. He carried us and willed us so much. I'm living with that any day of the week, and just did it. We did everything, but it didn't fall. But I loved it. I loved his move. I loved his move. I loved the shot, and it didn't come down to that play. It came down to the other plays down the stretch.
And lastly, the mood in the locker room, obviously devastation. But what did you tell them about what an unbelievable year you've had and the time that you've spent with this group?
Well, I'm beyond thankful for, grateful for them. I mean, they've taken us on a magical ride. They've been as good as any team. Obviously you have to win it to be in that conversation. But for us, 35 wins, an ACC regular season tournament, Final Four. But this team wanted more. And so there's nothing I can say that will help the hurt. But I couldn't be more proud to coach these guys.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Andy.
There's all those things, and he has his own experiences as a player coming up short until his senior year. Remember, John Scheyer scored over 2,000 points in his Duke career and finished it with Kyle Singler in a national championship in Indianapolis. But this one's got to go down. The guys on the floor were talking to Kelvin Sampson about of the 799 wins, how improbable this one feels. For John Scheyer, both as a player and a coach, this one's going to sting for a long time.
It's one of the more improbable ones I've witnessed in person when you consider the stakes, the stage, and the characters involved. And obviously, when the sting subsides, which it might not subside for a while, Duke had really a historically great season, and they just came up short. And Cooper Flagg had a historically great season, not just for a freshman, for anybody. And so I thought Duke really showed out well. They just really struggled in the final 8 minutes. You got to play a full 40 if you want to win the title, especially when you're taking on Kelvin Sampson's Houston Cougars.
So they come up a little bit short, and it's Houston and Florida in the title game coming up on Monday. But for most of the game earlier, it didn't seem like it was going to be Florida. It seemed like it was going to be Auburn. We'll recap game one next from the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. This is the men's Final Four.
My son Finn was born with congenital heart disease. He ended up spending about the first 8 months of his life.
This season, it's not just madness on the hardwood, but outdoors in the yard too. No matter the challenge, Ego Outdoor Power Equipment delivers incredible power and performance. From yard work essentials like mowers, blowers, chainsaws, and trimmers to innovations such as portable power stations and cordless pressure washers. You could use the same battery to power over 90 tools. That's why Ego has over 200,000 five-star reviews and counting. Check out the winning lineup at egopowerplus.com.
Time to shake off the winter blues and get your home looking its best. Whether it's new windows, fresh siding, or a stunning entry door, Window World has everything you need to boost curb appeal. And with Window World's professional installation, you can refresh your home stress-free. Spring into savings and schedule your free consultation today. Call 1-800-WINDOW-WORLD or visit windowworld.com to get started.
Catchy tune, right? But don't let the urge to sing along distract you from the truck drifting towards your lane, or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you. And Hyundai has over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006. Because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't... IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
The beauty of a tournament cheat sheet is that someone else spent thousands of hours watching film and analyzing stats, so you didn't have to. When it comes to hiring for your small business, LinkedIn does the same thing with candidates. LinkedIn delivers the strongest hiring data and insights to help you identify the right candidates to make the best hiring decisions. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/SXM. That's linkedin.com/SXM. Terms and conditions apply.
Back inside an empty Alamo Dome. Only Nick Bob, myself, Jason Horowitz, our producer Brian Finkelstein, and Dave Hagan, and a few security guards cleaning up here as everybody now gets to step back, get ready for Monday night, which will be Houston and Florida. Let's recap the Gators game earlier tonight against the Auburn Tigers, the first ever Final Four game between SEC opponents. Gators won in Auburn earlier this year, but it was the Tigers taking it to the Gators the final 5 minutes of the first half.
Cardwell now back to Pettiford. Pettiford dribbling on the Final Four logo to the left side. A three from Kelly. Rattles around and home. Miles Kelly, another three. His second of the first half. He's got 8. And Auburn leads by 9, 43-34.
And they lead by 8 at the half, 46-38, thanks in part to the fact that Auburn had just 2 first half turnovers, but that lead was gone 3 minutes and 32 seconds into the second half. They were tied at 59. Auburn would regain the advantage, still play from in front, but their lead was down to 1 possession. Florida was playing much better defense, and they get in front.
Pettiford will bring it up from right to left. Jumps the pass to Broom. Loose in the middle of the floor. Taken away by Martin. Roping to the other end for the one-hand jam. Florida by 2, 59-57.
Elijah Martin, at this moment, only player in tournament history to start in the Final Four for 2 different teams. FAU in 2023 and Florida here in 2025 had a massive impact on this game. And these 2 teams were going back and forth.
Pettiford up the floor from right to left. Over to the right side, Chad Baker-Mazzara in the corner. Drops it to Broom, who lobs it to Dylan Cardwell. To big alley-oop, and it's 63-62, Auburn by 1.
I love Janai Broom there with the short roll because Florida's trying to keep it on the side. The short roll is there, you hit him, and he just throws it up for Dylan Cardwell on the cut.
14 lead changes in this one as Houck pivots, drives inside.